The most thrilling, spine-tingling series ever.
From the pages of R.L. Stein's best-selling books,
And the screams go on forever and ever.
We now return to Goosebumps.
Greetings, Goosebumps fans, young and old, big and small, living dead and undead. Welcome back to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Isaiah Vargas. I'm joined by my good buddies Bjorn Palaniuk and Nick Shaw. We are the Goosebumps Crew, and we're back to, what else? Talk some Goosebumps. If this is your first time joining us here on the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, I want to sincerely thank you for joining us. If you are or have ever been a fan of the popular Goosebumps series of books or the monster franchise those books spawned, I have a feeling this podcast is going to be right up your alley because, as I always say, me, Bjorn, and Nick are some of the biggest Goosebumps nerds on the entire planet. We could talk about Goosebumps for hours on end, and that's exactly what we do here on this podcast. Every week we got a brand new episode talking about everything Goosebumps, whether it be the books, TV shows, movies, video games, merchandise, whatever it is. That is Goosebumps in the name. We're going to talk about it so much that we're going to give you at home Goosebumps. So with all that said, if you end up liking today's episode, make sure you have a like and comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell notification so when new episodes go up every Wednesday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, you'll get a nice little notification letting you know that a new episode is ready to be watched. But if you're just dying to get those episodes early, trust me, I know the feeling. You can catch them a day early over on our audio platforms where we're streaming. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your podcasts. And of course, you can follow the Goosebumps Crew on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, just to name a few. You can also follow Bjorn and Nick at Goosebumps Saucy Fan and Shawn, respectively, on their social medias and their YouTubes. All those links are in the description below, so check them out. Join the Goosebumps Crew today. Become a crew member. We appreciate in advance for your support. Also joining us today for the very first time, he is I would say a rising star in the Goosebumps community, especially the Goosebumps YouTube community. He's done tons of videos talking about the Goosebumps TV show, as well as other horror anthologies like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Nightmare Room, Twilight Zones, and so on. And we're very happy to have him here today, Mr. Kingnusmi. King, great to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And like I said, I mean, your videos have been becoming way more and more popular for, Goosebumps fans, because you do tons of reviews on Goosebumps media, episodes of the 90s show, the movies, the new Disney Plus series. So you've been growing in popularity. And I actually will say, before we brought you on our show today, at least I was watching your videos. So it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You're flattering me way too much.
Hey, we do that here. We like to butter our guests up before we completely go down on them.
Or as Tim says, we like to blow smoke up asses.
Something like that.
That's how you make friends in this business.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, but talking about the 90s show is exactly why we're here today, because that's what we always do. We always love talking about our beloved Goosebumps 90s show. And today, however, we're talking about a certain aspect when it comes to adapting, because whenever you adapt something to a TV screen or a movie screen from any sort of source material, whether it be a show or a book or whatever, there's always the question of if the adaptation is going to be as good, if not better, than the source material, or if it's going to, not be as good by comparison. And of course, Goosebumps, especially being a horror anthology where every episode was a brand new story adapting a different book, it was always a question on whether or not the TV show was either going to improve on a book story or if it was going to not be as good compared to the original source material. And the Goosebumps 90s show has its good episodes and it has its bad episodes. And sometimes that's different than what the original book was. So today we're going to talk about the episodes of the 90s show that were better than their respective books and vice versa, books that were better than the adapted episodes that came out. And just for clarification, we are sticking to only the 90s show today. We won't be talking about the Disney Plus show because really, those aren't really adaptations as much as the 90s show is. So, and if you want to know more of our opinions on that, go watch our reviews for both seasons. I'm sure you'll have a delight. So,
especially of the first.
Yeah. Very good one on your screen right now, Isaiah.
Oh yeah, right there. I guess that's a good place to start. So we're gonna start by talking about the episodes that are better than the original books, and I guess a good place to start is with Welcome to Camp Nightmare.
Yeah.
I was like, let's start there.
Yeah, right over there. Now, Bjorn, since you really like this episode, why don't you go ahead and start us off? What do you think of the episode compared to the book?
Honestly, like, it's in my top 10 favorite Goosebump books of all time, Welcome to Camp Nightmare. But like, as you guys know, I think Ghost Camp is a better book because it's like a really good ghost story. But the episode Welcome to Camp Nightmare it's my favorite Goosebumps episode of all time. And I don't know why that is. Like, I think it was one of the first I ever watched as a kid, like on Fox Kids when they were doing the reruns back in the day. And you know, we say this all the time, like some episodes to other Goosebump fans in the community, their favorite episode might be like a terrible one that we hate, right? But they'll say, no, but it was the first one I watched as a kid, right? So you have that nostalgia for it. So I remember watching Welcome to Camp Nightmare, and I remember like when I first saw it, it was the moment that the bus pulled up and like you've got Colin like leaning on the bus. And I remember I have that visual memory of it. And yeah, it was kind of my first experience with the Goosebumps TV series. So I have that real nostalgia for it. But in terms of, do I think it does justice to the book? Hell yeah. I think it's a really good adaptation of the book. I mean, there's obviously, there's always going to be a few changes no matter what episode. But do I think it improves on the book? I would say it does. And for me, I think it's because of I think the actors that play the roles, I just think they really just shine in this. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows their job, they know what they're doing. And even though some of them hadn't read the book, as we spoke to Kai, Eric Erickson, who played Billy, we've had him on the podcast. He didn't read the book.
Kai. Can I meet Kai?
Yeah.
No,
we had him on.
And he's just as cool in real life as he is on the screen. So
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Talk to him about Are You Afraid of the Dark too.
He's pretty laid back. Yeah, we did talk a little bit about that. We actually had the pool monster as well from that episode.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we tried to get them both, but
our only Are You Afraid of the Dark episode so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We will do more in the future, though. We've gotten tons of requests to do more Are You Afraid of the Dark talks because we just talked to a lot of people who work on that show.
He seems like a cool guy. I just like him.
Yeah. Oh, he's a really cool dude. Really cool guy. He sells it for me, like he really became Billy. Mm-hmm. He plays that heroic role very well. And I guess like when reading the book too, like Saber, it's exactly how I imagine Saber to be. Do you know what I mean? So I think that they just did a really good job with adapting this one. And considering it's my favorite episode from the TV show, but like with the books, I think Ghost Camp is my favorite over like the camp stories. Like this is I think this was like 6th on my list, but it's my favorite Goosebumps episode. So they have to have done something right to make it my favorite. So yeah, no, I love this episode. I just think it's Goosebumps. You know what I mean? Like it has all the elements, all the things we love about the Goosebumps TV series.
And I think what makes that episode so good is, as you said, it comes from the actors. The actors have a lot of charisma going for them, especially Kai as Billy, because that's a character who's very like selfless. He's a character who takes a lot of things to heart. So the way that he sells that character is like, I know I'm not crazy. People are like getting snake bites, getting hit in the head with baseballs, and like nobody else is taking this seriously, except for me. Mm-hmm. He seems like somebody who's very like thinks of others more than he thinks of himself.
Yeah, he has a very strong moral compass.
Exactly. Yeah. And the way that he will like throw himself into danger to save other people is a very like it makes him a very likable character because like Saber's on the loose. I'm gonna go out and find I'm gonna go out and find Colin so he's not mauled to death. Or
he's like,
and that's the thing,
cool with
like
it, man. Like,
that's what leans right into it. The supporting cast. I mean, everybody. It wasn't just a couple of standouts. I mean, everybody.
was great.
People who played Colin, Jay, Uncle Al, Larry. I mean, every role was filled, I thought, to perfection.
Yeah.
I didn't really find a weak link in that whole thing, to be honest. I mean, I think that's what really helps support that as one of the better episodes.
Yeah, it's the performances from the cast that really made it shine, and that's what sells it for me. And yeah, like you were saying with Billy's character, like he just sells it so well, and you can see why they really wanted him in the show because he even told us how they originally wanted him for another episode, which was just a shorter one. It makes me wonder what episode it was, like 20-minute short. It could have been Cuckoo Clock of Doom, could have been any of those because it was around that same time of season one. So it makes you think, what episode did they want him in originally? But yeah, when it came to the two-parter, they really wanted him in this. And maybe they saw him in Are You Afraid of the Dark or something, and they saw something in him as an actor that they really wanted for this. And yeah, he took on the role of this because it was a two-parter. So he's like, all right, I'll fly out there to Toronto. I'll do a two-parter episode.
I mean, that wouldn't be surprising because even when we had Ron Oliver on here, I mean, obviously he directed, and I think maybe helped write both of those episodes, right? Or was that William Fruit who did?
Yeah,
no. It was Ron who did Camp Nightmare, and he did.
Says Jeffrey Cohen wrote it.
I feel like
Jeffrey Cohen.
No, I think Ron directed both.
Yeah,
but he had fond memories of doing that with Kai. So, and again, as we know, like 90s kid pool in Canada was minimal. That's why you see crossover actors from all these shows. So it wouldn't surprise me if like Ron was like, oh no, he'd be perfect for this part. I really want to get him. I liked working with him. It's kind of like a Ryan Gosling thing.
Well,
and he's just like, oh yeah, really liked working with him. Obviously Ryan went on to do huge things, but
and I think
Kai's doing great things too. Kai's still working. So
I think another thing that elevates that episode too is a lot of the cinematography. I feel like that was an episode that was shot really well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like very weird camera angles, a lot of shaky cam to sort of like really intensify certain like moments, chasing stuff like that. The music is really good. It's one of those episodes that really plays on sort of the fear of isolation, I guess.
Yeah.
Like not so much like physical isolation, more like mental isolation. So for instance, like, you have Uncle Al and Larry being like, I haven't heard of this kid before. Who is it? It's like, he literally got bit by a snake last night. Like, what do you mean you don't know who he is? And by the end, he's just alone. Like, I just think of like that moment where it's right after the two kids drown and he like can't find him and he just runs back to the cabin and he's just sitting there like just like thinking about it. Like he's just staring off into space. And that's real for certain kids because it's like you feel like there's nobody on your side, and that's when you take matters in your own hands.
I was gonna say it's the most Twilight Zone feeling Goosebumps episode. It's like the most hard hitting when you're at least a little kid and watching it for the first time. It's all the camera angles. It just everything feels off, and they take things out of the book to like lean into more of like the dramatic, like him running through the woods like scared. Or like something's going on, something's missing, or like even that scene of him just sitting in his room by himself, like trying to ponder what to do next to like save himself from the situation. So that stuff like that, I think, is what really helped the episode elevate. It is also my favorite episode, so I'm gonna glaze it nonstop.
It's a really good one. It really
someone else there for you, Bjorn.
Yeah, usually I was surprised because usually when people talk about favorite episodes, I say Camp Nightmare, they're like. But I'm kind of I'm a Goosebumps Nepo baby because I wasn't born in the 90s, so I watched it reruns years later. And so I got to read the book afterwards, and after I read the book, I was like, I do think the episode is more intense, scarier, definitely scarier than the book.
Well, that's the thing. It's like sometimes there's times when the book's like description, because a book obviously is very different from a TV show, because a book is it's a medium where you have to read and be really descriptive in your writing. With a TV show, that's all on the screen. So like there's a lot more snappier pacing in the episode because you're not spending as much time describing what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Cobwebs on
because they
the
have
roof and
a short amount of time to actually get that across, whereas a book you can detail as much as you want.
Yeah.
yeah,
Phil.
there's a lot more things that you don't need, so you can cut them out. To serve the pacing of the episode. And I feel like this is one of those times where
you got to admit, Larry is the perfect douchebag in Goosebumps.
I did a
perfect douchebag.
I did like a tier list of like the most annoying characters, and I put like S+ tier, and Larry was the only one. I like slapped him right up there.
But see, it just goes to show he plays it so well.
He does. He does.
Like it's like the actress that played Umbridge in Harry Potter. Like people hate her so much, and I'm like, she did her job.
Yeah,
like
she did what she was supposed to. When I was a kid, I wanted him to die. I didn't want him to be alive anymore.
Yeah,
like, that's why it's so funny when at the end, he's like all cool and everything. He's like, great job, Larry. You did great. It's like
he's like, you're not
great.
The same.
He's like
you person, man. Yeah. I think I liked you better before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually creeped me out a bit more at the end when he switched personalities.
Yeah, he's like a nice guy in disguise.
Yeah. It's like, I still think there's something wrong with you.
But the sad story about this episode, the saddest news is that Saber did not survive the prop. So it's very sad to know that there's nothing. I don't think there was anything left of him, was there? I think Ron said that he threw him like
not really.
Yeah.
For pretty much everything Ron made, he said pretty much wasn't meant to last. Even Saber, he said, was a reused prop from another show that he did.
Oh, that's cool.
They just fixed some stuff.
But we saw Saber in Horrorland.
Yeah, he was in Horrorland.
He was a Rip. Remember the?
Yeah.
Well, it's always funny when you can see like those reused like animatronics and masks throughout the show. A lot of people would say like, "Oh, that's lazy," and it's like, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, actually, it's fun for people that like notice it though. It's like an Easter egg.
Exactly. You're like, hey, I noticed. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Now like Shock Around Shock Street aired, and I'm seeing like some unloved ones and other masks and props from other episodes.
That episode is really fun because of that. There's just like the werewolf from everything. Yeah, it's so cool. I love that episode.
I love seeing all that stuff.
In there.
Yeah, the creeps in there, the mass mutant.
Even like the small Easter egg, and I always thought we were hoping it was real, but I've never seen one. And Bjorn and I talk about it a lot. But in Werewolf Fever Swamp, there's that skateboard in Grady's room.
It's in
Hanover, and it's a sticker of Tim Jacobus's haunted mask art. I'm like, I was like, I'm sure all they did was make a sticker and slap it on a skateboard.
It's out there. It's a real skateboard.
I think that skateboard is also in Strained Peas in the background.
Is it?
I think so. It's very hard to see, but I noticed. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up now.
Yeah,
I don't want to look like an idiot.
I'm curious because
I would have
screen share it.
Noticed it.
I'm just on the fan wiki. Hold on.
We're always hoping like that skateboard was real because I'm like, if it is real, Nick, you're missing something.
You're missing up on a mask prop.
It'd be cheaper to recreate it. Honestly, I'll just print the sticker, buy a skateboard, and slap it on there.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you could probably just take any random skateboard and just slap it.
It had like flames on it.
Blank skateboard, man.
Flames on it.
Yeah.
It looked pretty dang cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did look cool.
A 90s skateboard, like with the cool flames, and then
it is. In one scene, Sam leaves Nicholas's house with the skateboard with the cover of the haunted mask. The skateboard is the same prop used in Grady's room in Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my!
I'll have to go back and look then. I didn't even know.
Right. It's very quick.
Something
it's like hard to see.
Learned. Holy shit!
I contributed. Right. I thought you guys would beat me in every way.
The fact that I haven't watched Strained Peas that much, so I probably wasn't like looking.
I watch it as least as I can.
That's the thing.
But like the thing you'll notice in Goosebumps all the time is there's always like if you look at most kids' bedrooms in the show, there always is Goosebump books on the shelf. Like generally. Like, especially in Click, I noticed, like, on his back little headboard thing, there's, like, back of Goosebump books, some falling over like this. And, like, that's what I love when they do that.
Trilogy does it, too, I think, in the first one.
I think so.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm pretty sure there was a Series 2000 book on the shelf, too.
I couldn't tell when I was doing the review. I was like, there's books.
In the Disney Plus show, I think they've had some Goosebumps books in there, too, yeah. So
Yeah.
They did in the
Yeah, I
library.
found out through the Disney Plus show too.
yeah,
They even had the
and
movie novel because it was freaking
the movie novel and not
David Letterman.
Not Goosebumps, but I think they did that in Fear Street too, the first Fear Street movie.
I didn't notice that.
Not Goosebumps, but it was like Fear Street adjacent
Oh,
books. Yeah.
okay, I got you.
Something like that. I don't know. I might be misremembering.
There's actually, this is a side tangent. Have you guys seen the movie The
Could be
Monkey?
Yeah, Monkey.
There's a giant
Unfortunately,
Goosebumps
yes.
poster
Goosebumps
in the
poster.
Monkey.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. I remember everybody in the
Oh, it really
Goosebumps community was
As soon
going.
as I got out of the theater, I immediately messaged them. I was like, "There's a Goosebumps poster in this movie.
And it's not like the 4 popular
That's
stories.
the best part of the movie."
And it's not
You're not
an
wrong.
easy to find one. So like
Literally.
somebody had to like have had that. You know.
I know. It probably was like something in their basement, and they're like, here, use this. I don't care.
Use this Goosebump poster. I love that they're
Yeah.
incorporating Goosebumps now in other media. That's good. Like
Yeah.
trying to show. Well, now that Disney,
Yeah, it's kind of revived a little
you
bit.
know,
Yeah.
it's like, well, we got to put Goosebumps in kids' bedrooms because that's probably what they're reading. So
Yeah.
Speaking of the sort of tales that give you goosebumps, and we'll definitely talk about those more when we get to the the other side. But I will say, Perfect School. I don't know. I do like the original short story, but it's another case where I feel like the episode, because it was a visual medium, was able to really improve on it. Because I think Perfect School is a very underrated two-parter.
It is.
oh, it's great.
It's really, really good.
Love it. It's
because-
one you
Yeah,
didn't really
like,
watch as a
I know
kid.
we've talked about it on here before, but I didn't care for it when I was a kid because I did grow up with the '90s show. But I mean, you want the monsters,
Yeah.
and all that's what you're watching Goosebumps for. So when I was watching that episode, I was like, oh, this sucks.
Boring.
But as an adult, like I very much appreciate it. It's very underrated as you watch it now as an adult. It's actually very good. I really don't remember the short story all that well, pretty much
don't
at all at this point. But I definitely remember the episode and will remember the episode because we've talked to Ron Oliver. We're trying to get Sean Roberts, so hopefully that pans out so we can actually have a deep dive on that episode because I would love to talk about that episode more.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's one that's definitely better than the short story, especially because they made it a two-parter from a short story. But
Yeah.
Ron said he was just enjoying it so much that like they just kept adding more and more. Let's do more. Let's do more. Let's do more. Like, he could have
Yeah.
had a three-parter. If it could have been the first ever Goosebumps episode to have a three-parter if he really wanted it.
Well, that's
Well, Trilogy was
Trilogy.
Yeah, Trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, Trilogy was a three-parter. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Trilogy, of course. See, another one that I don't think of very often. That's why.
That's because
I
there's
don't
no
either.
books.
Forgetful
I like
for me.
yeah, that's one we can't talk about because it's not based on any books. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
the
I
most
think
thing I remember about
That's another reason
those
why I don't think
episodes
about
was
it.
the Pig Girl and the song that
The-
Jack did that we got to talk to him about.
I'm a guardian for Trilogy. I like the Trilogy episodes.
I
think
like him
they're fun.
too. I feel
The
like
second
I'm on
one's
an island all
so
the time with
goofy.
that.
It's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. They got
I
like a
always thought,
baseball
like,
with
the
teeth.
the
Just
baseball
flying
one
at
was
a
always
kid.
my favorite because
Oh, wait. Isn't that the one where, like, every time he's eating, he's got something different? Like, he's eating something different
Yeah.
every time it gets back to him? Yeah. I did find that funny.
He's like playing the umpire, the catcher, and the people in the stands.
Yeah.
And he's just doing everything all on the baseball field. It's awesome.
They should have done what they did in the Goosebumps Escape from Horrorland game and just had, like, the one mummy just sitting in the stand.
Oh yeah. I mean,
It was,
it's
like,
pretty
just
much
the mummy.
kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been fun. But yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Perfect School is one of the better examples of them adapting the short stories because those are always, again, we'll talk more about that when we get to the books that are better than the episodes. But a lot of the short stories I don't feel really translated well to the big screen, the TV show.
The silver screen.
Silver.
And I think it's just because some of the stories were just not meant for like a 22-minute. They were meant to be short stories. But the Perfect School, I felt not only like really improved on it, but somehow made the most of its 44 minutes.
I think they did House of No Return really well as well.
Oh yeah, no,
that's a short story.
It's creepy.
I messed up.
Creepy.
Yeah, that one and Perfect School, I think, really improved on them. House of No
Yeah.
Return is a creepy story.
That's a very creepy episode. The
Yeah.
ending is like quite Yeah, I remember as a kid finding that one.
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah,
I think I said that was one of my top 10 endings of the 90s show was the
It's
one
pretty
from House on the
haunting.
Return. Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like I like a lot of the endings the '90s show had.
Yeah.
Pretty much only maybe a handful I didn't much care for. As far as endings go, now the episodes, that's a whole nother story. But I mean, I know we've talked about some of those on here, so I won't waste
You
time
love Attack
on
of the
that.
Jack-o'-lanterns, don't you?
Yeah.
I love Attack of Jack-o'-lantern.
That ending.
It is one of my favorites. I'm a big Halloween person though, so for
Yeah.
me, like Halloween episodes are easily my favorite.
Oh, immediately top 10.
Now I will say, like, I wasn't much a fan of the reveal of them looking kind of like Earthworm Jim but green.
Yeah.
In the
Thought that-
episode.
I was like, you could have done better. You look like the Muppet from like was it Beaker?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's what they look like. It's like, all right, well, but the fact that they still kept it to while like they're eating people, I love that episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was great.
I
But no, there's some other ones out there though that we've talked about on here before. That it's not just the ending that's bad;
Yeah.
it's everything.
well,
Yeah.
I will
I know
say
a few.
I don't know if I like the episode more than the book for Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. I feel like it's creepier in the episode because they focus so much on the sort of like kidnapping going missing aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's always, a fear at Halloween for parents is that like if you got your kids go off alone that something's going to happen to them. So it leans a lot into that sort of fear. Um and it's a little more punchy too because uh the pacing is pretty quick, so they get to like they meet the jack-o'-lanterns pretty quick. They go, they do the whole forever trick or treat forever.
Yeah.
And it goes
That's
by
one
pretty
thing.
quick.
Like I agree with that. They really needed to make that a two-parter.
Yeah. I was going to say
To
that.
really flesh that out a bit more.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know why there were certain choices made to give certain episodes two-parters, but I think
Mhm.
more popular ones ended up only getting one, which was weird.
I think it was
Like I could have
Stein
really done
himself.
like a two-parter with some other ones that were fantastic too. But
Yeah.
Attack of the
I don't know
Mutant.
who made those decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know Stein himself, especially in season 1, he was like, I want these episodes to be like two-parters. I want these to get like more spotlight than these other, because he wanted to like make sure his favorite books got made or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean that makes sense. He would
Yeah.
have
That's
to-
one thing if we ever get to talk to Stein that we would love to ask. Like,
Speaking of Halloween episodes, we do have to talk about now it's usually a toss up on whether or not Haunted Mask is the book is better, the episode's better. They're usually both considered really, really good. When it comes to Haunted Mask 2, on the other hand, almost always people say the episode is significantly better than the book. For one reason alone, and that's that Steve is a huge, huge asshole in the book, and not as much so in the episode. He's still a little bit, but not in an unlikable way. And that is a really good.
douchey in the episode.
Well, that's the thing. It's like in the book, he's picking on like first graders, and like there's this whole scene dedicated to him like pulling pranks on these first graders, and it just
bullying.
doesn't paint him in a good light. It's like I don't care if you get the mask off or not. I feel like you deserve this.
Yeah.
So, but more to the point too, it's because I don't want to say that Stein's writing style was inconsistent from the books, like the first book to the second book, but you could watch the first episode and the second episode and more or less not notice any difference. Like they're pretty identical in terms of tone, of pacing, and cinematography, and of course, most of the actors returned. But even then, I thought John White was good in the sequel too. I felt like
Yeah,
he did a
I
good job
agree.
with that character.
The Haunted Mask 2 is good. Like, I've had some people even tell me it creeped them out more than the Haunted Mask. Like the old man mask that creeped them out more.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where the episode obviously had to have done something right, again, compared to the book. Because, I agree. I think the episode is far superior than the Haunted Mask 2 book.
Yeah, definitely. And
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's huge differences. Billy and Dan, like, I can't wait to the point we get them on here too. Um, but it's just like I don't know. Like I want to ask them how they came up with the idea if they took it from watching the first episode and then finding out what would be better for this one because they don't want to support bullying, but I mean if you really look at a lot of episodes, there's bullying almost in every episode of Goosebumps.
First Haunted Mask
Uh,
had a lot of bullying.
yeah, the whole story of the Haunted Mask is bullying. So I mean, there's that, but the bullies get their comeuppance, so
Yeah.
it's fine, I guess. But when you're doing it like to first graders compared to like someone your same age, I guess maybe that was the line they didn't want to cross. I don't really know. So I'm kind of curious to know like where they felt they could take stuff out and put new stuff in. I think that'd
Yeah.
be an interesting conversation to have. But I like what they did. It did so much better, I thought, than the book. Mostly because too, like in the book, like Carly Beth has a very like minor role. I mean, she kind of does in the episode as well. Same thing with the original Haunted Mask. But they're more prominent in the episode and they serve a purpose too. They're not just there because they were popular from the first episode.
Well, it makes it seem
They
like
actually
more of a
serve a very good purpose to move the plot along.
Yeah.
Because in the book it's only kind of loosely connected to the first one. You're already starting it from a different main character's point of view. But the thing that the episode does, it does have the B story of Carly Beth trying to track down like Steve and an extension the Haunted Mask itself because she doesn't want it getting out. So you have that connection that connects it with the first one, while also being its own independent thing. So you can see them both as like one big story in a way, or at the very least, the second one is a continuation instead of kind of being a loose sequel. Um, Goosebumps had its fair share of those things too, but
Take
this one,
notes, Hollywood.
yeah.
All these sequels you've been pumping out suck.
But that's usually one of the ones that like I hear the most. So, like people are to say what is an episode that's improved on the book, people will normally say Haunted Mask 2. That's usually one of the go-to answers. Not to say that Haunted Mask 2
That's
is
the biggest one in my opinion.
yeah, not to say that Haunted Mask 2 is a
That's
bad
the biggest
book.
change.
It's just like it's kind of a middle of the road one. It's not as good. But it's fine. But another one, now this one's a little harder, and I had to actually give thought to this one. I actually think Stay Out of the Basement's episode is better than the book, and I already really like the book. I think the book is one of the top 10 Goosebumps books. But
Yeah, it is.
the episode I think is better because it keeps it to just Margaret and Casey, because I think in the book it was their friend also that was with them.
Yeah, they bring a third girl for some reason.
Yeah, and I really don't felt like they added anything to the story. So cutting her out was already like keeping it mostly to the family.
Cut her out. Just
Yeah.
Well,
line.
they probably wanted to bring another kid in, but like budget wise, we really can't.
They did this a lot in
Yeah.
Goosebumps. They did it in Horrorland. They did this a lot.
Yeah.
Even in the book, she's only there for that basement scene. I know a lot because it's fresh on my memory because I'm making a video about this. So she's only there for the basement scene, and then she comes back to tell Margaret that she thinks her dad's a mad scientist, and then she's not in the book for the rest of it.
Yeah,
she just
you
she
get rid
goes
of it,
away.
it doesn't add anything because Margaret could probably figure that out just fine.
And that's exactly what they did. They were just like, Margaret will just do that.
So that's already an improvement right there. It's just like and again, you get rid of the things you don't need to service the TV show adaptation. So that's what an adaptation should do. I also think that it's just scarier. Like the book's already scary, but like the episode really ramps up the intensity with what's going on with the dad, and I think that comes down to Judy Katz's performance because he really sells like just the creepy, like angry looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, really, just the
Bye-bye.
way he stares at Margaret, like in some scenes, it's just it's terrifying
the
because
scene
it's
at
like,
night
what is he gonna do?
where she like goes and like spies on him, and then he's just standing at the foot of her bed, like with his arms. I'm like, that is a creepy moment in Goosebumps with the soundtrack, like the score over the top. That is just downright creepy, and I love the blue filter that they put over it as well.
The use of
It was
blue,
great.
the use of blue lighting as opposed to the green lighting that's in the basement is it's so good on the eyes. Like it really, really works. The one scene in
It's my mom's
particular,
favorite episode is Stay Out of the Basement.
Oh, that's cool.
Just gonna say,
well,
she always says, "I love the one with the evil plant dad." That's how she says it, like in
aw,
her words.
that's cute.
And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like she loves
But
it. Yeah.
there's one scene I
He was
really
probably
like.
like,
It's when they use the crowbar to get like because he boards the basement door shut,
Yeah.
so they don't go down, and then they grab a crowbar and they pry it back open, and there's that just the door slowly opening, and you just see the green lighting just like seeping out of like among all the blue lighting upstairs, and it's just
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so good. It
Like-
just has great atmosphere
Knocking at
and
me.
great intensity. I feel like
Yeah.
it just puts it that slightly above already a great book, but just puts it a notch higher.
There's a few things that are in the book that I wish they did. There's like when they open the closet, there's like the other experiments laying on the floor that they're talking about, like with like squash or something like that, heads. They're kind of like pumpkin heads from the Haunting Hour, if you guys know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I imagined when I was reading it. And they were like laying around and they were like slowly breathing, but they weren't moving. They couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that was really cool. And also I wish the dad used an axe and chopped the other plant dad in half. I thought that would have been really cool to see.
That would have been cool. That would have been amazing.
that's what the Disney Plus show should have done.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
had scenes
but
with like
They had
cutting
the
his head off
opportunity.
and things like that. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, they had dismemberment. I mean, they had some good body horror in that Disney Plus season, but
mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Still
feel like
think
they
it
could
would've
have
been
done it in the 90s, just like, slice them in half and have like green stuff come out of them. And
That would
I
have
don't know, it might have been too scary.
I don't know if they did that. I would have been like, that is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was the second book or whatever of Goosebumps, second
Yeah.
or third.
Mhm.
So he was still trying to figure out how to make it kid friendly. He was
Well, that-
crossed the border a little bit a couple of times.
Well, that's what we
It
talked
must have
about
blood.
last time was
Yeah.
that, in those first few books, like first six, it was a lot more intense. Like,
Mhm.
so there was a lot more like there'd be moments where there's actual blood.
Yeah.
Or like, body horror, like Welcome to Dead House, which actually I
Oh.
probably will bring up
Dead
next.
House. Yeah.
Or
But,
dead dog.
Yeah, no, dead dog
Yep.
and
Made me sad.
melting corpses in the graveyard and things like that. But even this one with like killing the dad by chopping him up with an axe is very intense for kids horror.
Yeah. Would have been cool. That's all I'm saying.
And I
I
actually
still think he had that Fear Street mindset when he was
He
writing
definitely did.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somebody had to tell him, "Hey, whoa,
yeah, toe
I
it
said,
back. This is
"What's
for
your
kids,
age
it's not for young
range,
adults."
bro?
Yeah, like it felt like a fish, and I said this before. I was like, I feel like if Welcome to Dead House had another 30 pages, it could have been just a Fear Street book. Like,
Yeah.
easily could have been a Fear Street book.
hmm And actually, I'm glad you brought up the whole thing with like the other experiments, so like different faces on like squashes and things like that, because they kind of did that in the episode. There's like
Yeah.
the hand, and
There's that
the-
one that opens up and it's like a white face. Yeah.
Yeah.
the symbol of love."
I actually
Yeah.
wait, didn't we
That's right.
didn't we confirm that was Catherine Wong's face in that
Yeah.
in there? Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
was
cool.
that was the face of Catherine
Yeah.
Wong. So
No,
she got
I
to
wasn't saying that as a joke. That's literally the
yeah.
sculpture of her from the Haunted Mask episode. They're just pushing it through.
I am putting that in my video right now. Thank you
Yeah,
guys so much.
no, definitely. Because that was like I think was it her that told us, or was it like was it like Alan or Ron that said that?
No, it was Ron, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure Ron
No,
Oliver said it.
no. So it was Becky who told us that.
Oh yeah, Becky did. Yeah, we got to talk
Oh.
to Becky Lantos and Judah Katz, who was Margaret and Dr. Brewer in the episode.
Oh, that's cool. You guys
And,
talk to cool
So
people.
when we were talking
Judah,
to
I would say
them,
Judah
they,
Katz is hilarious.
we were like, "Well, at least you got a plant twin." She's like, "Well, not really." It's like, they just took that head sculpt thing from another episode, and we found out talking to her, yeah, that was the Carly Beth head sculpt.
That's
So
cool.
Carly Beth got to appear in another Goosebumps episode.
That's
that wasn't
cool.
on
Holy
Mask.
crap.
That's
Crazy
awesome.
that they- yeah.
But one thing I thought could have been really cool, because they do the ending from the book where it's like the flower sort of whispers, it says, "I'm your real dad."
Mm.
I think what would have been really cool is if because Margaret pricks her finger on one of the plants, and they even say that like that looks like me in that plant. So I
Yeah.
thought it would have been really cool if actually at the end when she ties her shoe, she looks up and sees a clone of herself, and like that's how
Yeah.
the episode ends.
Like the plant monster successfully got one done.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that would have been better, and that would have been
that would have been, and it would have been a payoff to what we saw earlier. So
yeah.
I think
Somebody
that
hire
could
this
have
guy.
been. I think so. But but all things considered, I do think Stay Out of the Basement is a really good episode. I do like it better than the book, but again, the book is, top tier, S tier, so
Yeah.
it's just going a little bit step further. Um, Now one I'm a little more mixed on. I lean towards the episode just because I like the episode a lot, and that's Dead House. Welcome to Dead House. I kind of go back and forth on. I'll just say
Yeah.
that. Because the book I think is really well done. I think it has a lot of great like body horror, as we said. It's a very scary book.
Mhm.
But I like what they
Really?
went for in the episode with the cinematography, the extras that they got to play the townspeople, and just how visually isolating it is. To be in this town. It looks like a town you wouldn't live in if the rent was $6.
Yeah.
It's got creepy visuals in the episode that genuinely terrified me as a kid. Like it was the only VHS that I wouldn't rewatch very often. And it's like the scenes where she would look out her window and she would see the dude just standing there staring at her. And then the shutters would close, but he's not doing it. Like he hasn't got his hand anywhere near the thing. It just would shut on its own.
Yeah.
Like things like that would just really, I don't know, dark.
Yeah.
Dark feels.
They also added that scene with the little girl in the bedroom that's not in the book.
Yeah.
That scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah, and
Well, just the
like
idea
the
that-
hand smashing through the wall, and you just
That
hear
was the part that got me, the
Yeah.
hand
Like
coming
the-
through.
stuff
Well, just
like
the
that
fact,
was-
the idea that like you're not even safe in the comfort of your own house is
Yeah.
haunting. Like just like
There's
that
people in
anybody
the
can
walls.
just come into your room when
That's
you're
because
sleeping.
it's not your house.
Yeah.
The dead house.
My room
I used to live in that house.
when I was alive.
Oh, freaking
But that's the
Ray.
thing,
But you know what? Yeah, it was eerie, man. The soundtrack was very, very eerie. Like the little soft piano, melancholy piano that would play throughout. That was just unsettling in a way.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like the book had more like terrifying descriptions. The gore was definitely there, which you can't really do on TV. So it had a lot more, I would say, horror, but I feel like the episode was more tense. Like, it kept you on the edge of your seat a lot more.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they tried their best to like really sort of like keep the mood disturbing the entire time. Like, you don't feel safe no matter what.
Yeah.
And also it focused a little more on the adult characters, so the parents get a little more time to shine than in the book, which makes sense because this is a threat to them as well. So it makes sense to get a little more
Right.
get a little more acquainted with the entire family as well as some of the adult neighbors. So you have like Karen's parents, the Thurstons,
Yeah.
as well as the children that they meet, because I feel like the
Yeah.
book mostly focuses on the children characters.
Yeah.
Instead of
And
the
I've
entire
said-
time.
I think I said it in a stream before. The Goosebumps episodes where the parents are also scared me more, because if adults are scared, it's pretty dang serious.
Well, that's the thing. When
Yeah.
you're a kid, you go to your parents for security. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't scare your parents, then okay, then you feel a little secure. But if your parents are like, "Oh God, what the hell do we do? I'm so frightened."
Yeah.
Then it's like, "Oh shit, we're fucked."
How are they going to get out of this situation?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a very
I think
dark episode, which I know that was the
I think
intent behind it,
Mhm.
meant to be dark.
I
But
think the only thing I didn't like about it was the wreath aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
That's another thing that kind of is like,
That change, I was not a fan of that.
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, they like added that in.
That's the thing though. I really like the things that it does in the episode. So I go back and forth like between the two, because one moment I'll like the episode, but then I'll be like, no, but the book is better written and it's got a lot more like scary stuff in it.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah,
so
but
the
again, what
tone-
Goosebumps does very well, and what helps with a lot of people is visuals. And so when you can think about something and, but because you're thinking about it, maybe it's not so scary because you're creating it.
Yeah.
But when you see something, it's like it's visually stimulating and it can cause that fear. So it really just kind of will go back and forth. But I think the episode is just slightly better for that reason, though, because again, it's a really good cast. Uh, Shout out to Scott Wickware and Marilyn Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was a very
We
dark tone that worked. Yeah, it was the tone of
Yeah,
the episode was done very
it was a
well.
great cast, but even down to Mr. Dawes, even though like he wasn't in it a bunch, like he played the salesman part very well, but like once he started getting hungry and they kind of changed his pale look and
Oh,
Yeah.
the
he had the
whole scene where
creepiest
he's running
line.
out in the street after him, saying like, "Oh, we
I'm
could refinance."
hungry.
The way
That's,
he said it
salesman
was
stuff,
the
and then all of a sudden
delivery
his
was
face changes
Yeah.
to straight up just
The
craziness.
subtlety of the makeup application throughout the episode really works because when they really turn like, like when the reveal happens, then all of a sudden they have like the imperfections and the blemishes and the gray skin, and it's like it's haunting. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And also
it's one
kind of
the-
it comes in the middle or at the end of season 2, which had some very weird episodes, like wackier episodes.
Yeah.
So like Calling All Creeps came out before it is what I'm looking at. And Calling All Creeps has a good ending, but it is kind of a wackier episode,
Yeah.
And then you get
sure.
this the next episode.
Well, that's the thing. And actually,
And then the next is Don't Wake Mummy. Another weird,
Don't Wake
wacky episode.
no, that's the thing. This was like the trade-off between when Goosebumps was like really kind of like dark, intense, to
Mhm.
when it started becoming a little more like, tongue-in-cheek,
Lighthearted and
silly.
goofy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like this episode, I'm noticing because the episodes I'm planning to bring up, I'm realizing are a lot of the two-parters. So like, those two-parters really got some like, for the most part at least, got a lot of love.
Yeah.
They really put their all into those
Yeah.
ones.
I think they had the best cinematography, the best scores overall. I mean, still the single episodes had a good score too, but some of them were just reused from those two-parters.
Yeah.
So
I will say,
I don't know. I think they ended up getting better actors overall too for those two-parters. Maybe because they were supposed to be longer and they knew they were going to have them a bit longer and they needed to carry longer. But
Yeah. More expensive.
yeah.
um, to shake things up, another episode that's not a two-parter, that I do think is better than the book is You Can't Scare Me. I don't think You Can't Scare Me is a very good book.
I don't think it's a good episode either.
I don't, no, I don't like the episode either, but I will say I do think the episode is better than the book because it's a little more, I don't know how to say it. I do like it because it focuses just on Hat and Eddie and Courtney. It cuts out all the other side characters from the book, so it feels a little more like a personal struggle between two characters trying to get it over on one. And actually, I do like that Courtney doesn't break down at the end like in the book, because the book she sees the mud monsters and she freaks out, and then it's mostly just kind of like, I saw the mud monsters, but she got scared. I do like that in the episode that she just doesn't get scared, and not only that, she talks the monster to death.
Yeah. Bores it to death.
That's funny. I think that's very funny. It's a great little like punch to the character's like goal, because it's just like, wow, this failed so spectacularly.
Yeah.
But I will say credit to where credit is due. That mud monster or the McShake monster, as almost they're calling it. The McShake monster could be almost looks identical to the book cover. I think they did a really good job translating that to live action for a low budget TV show.
That was one of the most well translated from the art of the cover to TV show I think I've seen. It looks almost identical. And actually, I will say too, I got scared shitless by that mud monster in the episode. That chase, when he's chasing Hat, honestly it had me on the edge of my seat when I was a kid. I think it's the noise, like just like the sounds he's making, like the almost like roaring that he's doing. So it does have a little more of an intense climax that leads to a really good joke. So I don't think it's great episode. I feel like it slogs a lot, but I do like it more than the book because it cuts out a lot of the fat.
Yeah.
It's a background episode. You just play it in the background when you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you do all the time out there on the TV.
Yeah.
It's like constantly playing in the background.
I do wish they used more than just one. I know it's probably a money issue, but more than one mud monster. I think that'd make it more
Yeah.
scary. But I
Yeah.
understand
I think
budgets.
The producers are like, "How much money do you think we have?"
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
It would have been nice. I guess it kind of adds to the urban legend aspect that there's only one because you can just say, "Oh, the mud monster," but honestly, I think it is scarier if there's just a whole like army of these things in the woods somewhere.
I think what was it? The book? It was they were spirits of people that lived in the town, right?
I think so,
Something like
yeah.
that?
Or
So it was like the spirits were coming up
Yeah.
from the dead.
and if not that, it was people that they were dragging down, and then they would like subsequently become one because they're, they're
Oh, people
they're
that
dead
drowned
now
in the
too.
mud or whatever.
Exactly. I think it was like that's how there became more of them, and that's why you stay away because you'll get turned into a mud monster too, or something like that. I haven't
Yeah.
read the book in a hot minute, so I think
That'd be
that's what
freaking
happens.
cool, man. Imagine if
Yeah.
you could become a mud monster.
I don't think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
I can make you one. Just go buy me a whole bunch of McDonald's shakes, and I will make you one when you come here
That is
in
another thing we
September.
found out is that there were a few moments. The fact that he says McShake Monster is actually not a joke. It
I
is,
know
but it's not a
because
joke.
the drippy was like chocolate milk.
The drippy
shake
was
or
they
whatever.
would literally Charlotte Sullivan, she played Courtney, literally told us that to get that effect, they would go out and get a McDonald's chocolate shake and dunk it on the actor's head.
My God.
So hey, I mean, at least it tastes good, I would think.
It made it a little bit more believable.
One episode, and actually this ties in with our discussion from the last episode. Monster Blood, I think, is a better episode than the book. Um,
I
I
agree.
I do think not to go to like I said, we talked about this last episode, so we won't go into too much detail on it. But
Well, I couldn't join last episode, so I'll talk about it all
okay,
I
then you
want.
can talk about it. You're gonna fill in for lost time.
Well, I couldn't be here. It's not my fault.
So we'll
But no, Monster Blood books are terrible. Sorry, I know we are. So we
the first one's
got a new
okay,
person
all right. The first
on
one's
here.
The first one's mid bumps. The first one was
we
mid
got
bumps.
we got a new person helping us out in the crew, and he told us that like Monster Blood's like his favorite, and sorry. But it's just the books are not great. I mean, I guess the first one's okay for what it is.
Yeah.
But then just to repeat, wash and rinse the process over and over again for 3+ more books. It's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
It shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's inconsistent.
It's in every Goosebumps video game. It's in every TV show. It's everywhere.
It's literally the logo. It's literally the
It's literally the logo.
of the show.
Well, and so for those who didn't catch our last episode, basically the reason we don't like it is just because it's a concept that, while fine at first, it didn't grow past its first book. Funny enough.
Like The Hangover, I think if
Like-
Monster Blood was one book, it would have been better. Like if it was, you know how like The Hangover, like you got the movie and it's great, and then you got the sequels that are like, and they say,
The
and they
same
even ask
fucking
like
thing
the actors
over and
later
over
on,
and
like,
over again.
yeah, like Ken Jeong, they've asked them, do you think The Hangover would be more iconic if like there was no sequels? And they all agree yes, like if it was just the one movie. But
Yeah.
you take the money and you do the sequels. So I think if Monster Blood was just the one book and there was no sequels, it would be more iconic, and because it's only the one book. It's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think then you wouldn't have that hangover. Like I just call it the hangover effect. You wouldn't have that. It's like Fast and Furious.
Are you
Like,
having a
all the
hangover?
sequels are good, but some of the sequels are bad as well. So it's like, what if there was
Bro,
just
don't
like,
get me started on Fast and Furious, man.
do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's the same concept with Monster Blood. I think if it was just the one book, it would
Well-
be better received, more iconic. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Well,
You know?
here's the thing about why we think the episode's better too. And this is just referring to the first book. The first book had this whole thing where the Monster Blood was a toy. Like it was this discontinued, silly putty sort of like thing that you play with, and they found it at this abandoned toy store. And then that toy just so happened to get cursed by Sarah Beth, who, just did it, I guess, to fuck with everybody. I don't know. And so it's just kind of like,
hates kids.
yeah. And not to mention, Evan and Andy, I don't know.
Andy's the real villain.
They're not the smartest of kids in the books. But the thing about the episode is that it feels more personal, I guess. So Sarah Beth basically was like a tenant of Aunt Catherine, who Evan goes to live with. And she found her practicing witchcraft and then basically had a tussle, and then she got trapped in the monster blood, which she was using in her rituals. And then she just kept it in a case in a room and just left it so she would never get out. And Evan and Andy, because they're kids and kids like to go around in places they shouldn't be, they play with it thinking it's a toy. It's not actually a toy in this version. And that unwittingly unleashes Sarah Beth. So it's a little more of like, be careful what you go on messing with in the episode. It doesn't feel like, oh, just happened to curse the thing that you bought at the store that had no evil products from the beginning. Not until the sequels came out, apparently.
Oh boy, I didn't know she had Nickelodeon slime. Let's play.
Let's play in this dusty old room, in this dusty old cabin. Oh, look, a cat just appeared out of the silly putty. What do you know?
That's crazy.
But it also just, it's an episode that cuts a lot of things that are not needed. They don't have any bully characters that, just come along to be food for the monster blood.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a bad to worse sort of story in the episode. And then it's actually really good once you get to the second one, which is not based off any book. More Monster Blood, I think, is a very good episode. That's another one not technically based on a book, but I think it's a pretty underrated episode overall.
More Monster Blood, yeah.
But
I think it's good.
Yeah,
it's fun.
We would
Monster
say that
Blood also, the episode suffered from the 90s graphics. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't think it performed as well back then because graphics, it's like Animorphs, it was like, oh, geez, what is this?
sometimes you could tell it was like an inflated image. Like it like sometimes Goosebumps had to like make something look bigger, but it's clearly just like they just blew up the image, and you can just tell.
Like Deep Trouble, anything in Deep Trouble.
Deep Trouble, the Awesome Ants.
Awesome Ants.
Yeah,
Teacher's
anytime they had
Pet,
to
they
do
do
it
it
with
sometimes.
animals.
Oh, God,
or even Trigger in that episode,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he was
that
blown
thing
out.
to work. That's funny.
He's got his.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I don't know. It was the graphics at the time, I think, hurt it too. But I do agree. I think More Monster Blood was pretty good for what it was. But I'm kind of wondering why they took that approach over just doing Monster Blood 2 or something.
Probably because they couldn't
I
effectively
kind of
pull
felt
off
like
a
the
giant
first
hamster.
episode wrapped up enough. You really didn't have to do another. But they did.
It was
fine.
it was basically Fight or Flight with Monster Blood. That's how I looked at Snakes on a Plane, but Monster Blood.
Oh, I was gonna say that. I was like, oh, these motherfucking monster blood.
Nightmare. No, it's Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with Monster Blood. It's that Twilight Zone episode with William Shatner.
There's something on the wing.
But there were some.
You've got Monster Blood on the shelf.
I got Monster
Literally
Blood on the
dripping
shelf.
It's dripping
Oh,
off.
God.
Is that a Christmas thing? Monster blood on the shelf.
Monster Blood on the shelf. Yeah,
just-
it's like
okay.
Elf on the Shelf.
We shit on the books, we shit on the episodes, but like
We really didn't shit on the
it looks
episodes.
cool when it's displayed on the shelf,
The episode.
It goes with the Goosebumps
when it's on a
aesthetic.
shelf, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it does
Goes with
match.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
God dang.
I think, I guess sticking along with the two-parters, I think Night and Terror Tower is better than the book. I think the episode is better. What do you guys
It's a
think?
great
That's one.
episode.
I haven't read that book. I really need to. That's one I've
It has
missed.
a lot of running in it.
I've heard.
Well, the episode does too, to be fair.
Episode's
Well-
great. It's iconic.
At the
Yeah.
very least, the running is not extended over like 2 pages. It's done in like 15 seconds.
Hey, it's the one that most even casual Goosebump fans had on their VHS shelf when they were a
Mhm.
kid. You know,
Mhm.
it's very
True.
very iconic episode.
Well, at least here in the States,
it was
because
actually the
it was
most-
one of the first VHSs to release.
Yeah, that
my
with
first one here,
Stay Out of the Basement, right?
It
Yep,
was
and
it was
Haunted Mask.
really
Those, like,
pushed.
those-
And Haunted
Like,
Mask.
in Australia,
Yeah, Haunted Mask came out first, but Night in Terror Tower and Stay Out of the Basement came out on the same day.
That's what I
was
thought.
that's
really
so
odd.
weird because in Australia, Terror Tower was the first one, and see, in Australia, Halloween's not a big thing. Like, so like it doesn't really relate to a lot of
That's
people
why I
here.
could never
Like
live
the
there.
Halloween thing, like it's not a thing here. Um, Terror Tower. I remember when that. Yeah, Lauren, one of our good friends in the community, she said she remembers like when the VHS came out, it was like so big and pushed, and it was like this thing. Um, and like every kid had that VHS. It's the most common one you find here in Australia. Like if you're gonna find a Goosebump VHS tape in a thrift store or a market, you're most likely gonna find Terror Tower first before anything.
Yeah.
It had a big release here, and then the later VHS tapes kind of like Haunted Mask is the close second that you would find here. Like I seem to find Terror Tower, then Haunted Mask, then Fever Swamp, then Living Dummy 3. Like, because you guys said Living Dummy 3 was like the last one of those tapes. That was like the
Mhm.
fourth one here. So it's
It
like,
was maybe
Yeah.
middle of the pack, roughly. I think it was
Yeah.
the last clamshell VHS that we got.
It was the last clamshell because
Yeah,
we got 3
it
more
was.
in the Ultimate Goosebumps.
yeah, like your
Because,
order was so
we got
different.
Ultimate Goosebumps, but those weren't in clamshells.
Those were sleeves, yeah.
Yeah,
But then
they just have the VHS sleeve.
in the UK, they got Welcome to Camp Nightmare on VHS in the UK, like a normal release. Like we didn't get it here or anywhere else, so it's crazy. Like,
Because we don't like you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's like they do it. It's just I don't know.
but
But yeah,
but the
it's very different land and under. Like, yeah, like Halloween's only just sort of getting bigger in the last couple of years, but it was never really
Weird.
a thing. Well,
It's kind of
Like,
dying here, and
if
it's
you were
very
lucky-
sad.
I was lucky if I was a kid, if one
I would've
person
noticed that, like-
2020,
2020, and I think it's just because people were revolting against the COVID lockdown. Man, Halloween was big in 2020. The streets were just loaded with people, and
Hmm.
like almost every house that we went to when I was taking my daughter around, like were just it was crazy. It was like I was a kid again.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, almost every house was giving out candy. You always see people in the streets. Literally the next year, it's like no pun intended, it was like a ghost town.
Ghost. Yeah.
Like,
I think
I had to go, like,
people
four
they'd
houses
rather
down
do like
where you found,
trunk
like,
or
each other.
treating. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they'd
no,
rather do
that-
trunk or treating because
oh.
it's safer.
hate that.
I will go to the
That's so
busiest
messed up.
Yeah.
area of the Gold Coast on Halloween night, and I will film the street, and I will show you the one person walking around.
That's crazy.
Okay?
It's you.
Like it's not a thing here.
Just-
It's
Him in a haunted
Style.
mask, just walking around.
never
Yeah.
been a thing here, like ever.
He's
Like,
just dressed up in one of his cosplays of either Stein or Slappy. Just film yourself. That's all.
yeah.
But going back to Terror Tower, and I guess an extension we can say Werewolf of Fever Swamp too.
Mhm.
Again, I feel like these 2-parter specials, and again, these books are good. But I think the specials somehow, like, just because they didn't have to focus on the describing so much, even more so Terror Tower, because again, Terror Tower slogs at many moments because it's just a bunch of like running away from the executioner. And there is that in the episode too, but there's a lot more time to like really spend time in the tower and look at things. There's that they go to the hotel for a little bit and then they go to the past and spend a lot of time in there. And not to mention, you get to see all the beautiful set design for like the medieval times, the tower, both in the present and the past, especially in the past when, there's lanterns set up and there's people like yelling and screaming in the background. So you get to see a lot more of that visual storytelling, whereas in the book, it's a lot of describing. And like that's one where like Stein was really trying to like stretch it out.
Paint the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to pull a Stephen King on us.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen King, where you could literally use his books as like a
Dude.
stand to reach the top shelf for a cookie.
Oh no! I recently bought
90% of
the
it
Skeleton
was
Crew.
description.
Oh my god! I don't know where I put it. I recently bought the
Skeleton
Skeleton
Crew,
Crew by
one of the
Stephen King because it was
biggest
short stories and it's like this thick.
Oh,
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Funny that you mentioned Skeleton Crew. My partner found a first edition, like first print of that book,
Oh,
like
that's
the
cool.
hardcover, and it's like it is probably the coolest cover art like on
It
any
is.
Stephen King that I've ever seen. Like with the skeleton on the front, like it is
Mhm.
sick. I've
I
actually
wanted to
got to
get the
show
old one,
Nick and that.
but they don't sell that here. I can get one with
No.
the monkey on it or the bird thing. So I got the
Yeah.
bird thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a cool cover, man. Like
Yeah.
even when I looked at it, I was like, damn, that's sick. It looked kind of like a Tim Jacobus art in a sense, sort of
Yeah.
like the skeleton on it. It looks really sick. I'll have to show you guys. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And then Werewolf of Fever Swamp. Now, Nick, I know you love that book. Um, and I do too. I think it's that's another like this is another stat of the basement thing where I feel like the book's already really, really good. I think I like
Mhm.
the episode more because again, I just think that the episode's more intense. It has the
Mhm.
I mean, for instance, in the book, the Swamp Hermit, like by the end of the book, he brings Grady home after, you know, he gets attacked by Will as the werewolf. In the episode, he just gets mauled to death.
He did. He did.
He
Poor
just gets
guy.
ripped to shreds off screen, and it's like, but it
Dude, you
makes it
feel
more
so
scary.
terrible for that guy.
It
You
makes
feel
it more
so bad
scary.
for him.
Yeah, it's more of
It
a
does,
threat
but
now.
like, dude, it's like you think he's the werewolf the whole time in that episode, and
Mhm.
then you find out, oh, his family was killed. Okay,
Mhm.
that's tragic. Like his wife, his kids, like shit. Okay, that's terrible. And then you think he's finally got his revenge, and he catches that deer, and the first thing he does is tell the kid who thought he was a monster the whole time, like he's telling him run. He turns around, boom, dead.
Mhm.
Didn't get his
Yeah.
revenge. His whole build up, boom, you're done. You're gone.
Yeah. But
You
again, it
dead.
adds
You
to the
dead.
horror of it all because and another thing too is in the book, I think he himself basically kills the idea of being the werewolf because he's just kind of like, "Oh, I'm nice actually. I'm not gonna hurt you."
Yeah.
He's like, so it's like okay,
Yeah,
but in
I
the
actually
episode
really
they
like that.
build
Yeah,
yeah they build that mystery more because he
yeah.
catches Grady and holds him hostage in his shack, so it's like maybe he really could be the werewolf. It actually builds that mystery a little
Well,
more.
they really want you to think that because they, if you look, they do a zoom in on his like his hand, so his nails are kind of grown and nasty, but they
Hmm.
also show like hair sticking out, like
Mhm.
he's just
Mhm.
wild, hasn't
And he's
groomed
chomping that
himself in
chicken.
forever,
He's just
and yeah,
chewing
he's
on
just like got crazy eyes, and he's just going to town on that chicken. He really liked that chicken.
But also,
Uh,
I think a thing the book does that I don't really like is that it focuses more on like, is the dog the wolf? Like, is Wolf in the book, Vandal in the episode, but is Vandal the wolf in the book?
Yeah.
it's not Vandal.
But it's like it's not Vandal.
Not Vandal.
But in the episode, that's just kind of like it's not a central focus. It's just like what the parents are thinking. There's a lot
Yeah.
more threat to the werewolf in the episode. So I feel like it builds up the threat a lot more and it's more I feel like I'm saying the word intense a lot, but it's true. It builds up the tension more. It feels more vicious and once the werewolf finally appears, like we're off to the races.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite climaxes in the 90s show.
I'm going to be super nerdy. I actually prefer the comic version of Werewolf Fever Swamp
Oh, okay.
because that literally it was the first Goosebumps comic I read and it scared me. So
Same,
like
same.
it is like literally 10 times scarier than the book and the episode. And it kind of puts the episode to shame a little bit. It's pretty intense.
It's
Like the werewolf in it alone is wild.
it's drawn so well.
Yeah.
It's drawn with like it's essentially like a silhouette with like white pupils. Like they're
Yeah.
not even pupils, just like dots for eyes.
Is this the
Um,
graphic novel version or the
Mhm.
IDW one?
Graphic novel.
Graphic
The
novel.
graphic
Yeah.
novel one?
Graphic
Yeah,
novel.
yeah.
The
Okay. Because I know
IDW
there's
one
like
was
two, the
different.
secrets of this. Yeah, cool.
Well, and then there's that I will never forget that image of him like just chomping in the Grady's shoulder. Like
Yeah.
that is violent for a kid's
They
for a
didn't
kid's graphic
they did not
novel.
pull the punches in the comics in the slightest. It was
No.
awesome.
Scarecrow Walks at
Yeah.
Midnight was
That
another
one also scared me so bad.
Yeah. The I think this is the reason why I have such a like trypophobia fear is that one panel of the worms in the corn.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the way they
Disgusting.
made the scarecrows, they drew the scarecrows were really well. There was one,
Oh,
the one that was
yeah.
on fire. No, at the beginning when he's having the nightmare and it comes in the window, and it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gave me
Speaking of
I
nightmares.
should reread those.
speaking of
You
which,
should.
Scarecrow Walks at
Yeah.
Midnight, I think I also prefer the episode for. I really like the book.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
It's the book added a few things that I liked that the episode kind of took away, but also I feel like the episode focused too much on the honky tonky part of everything.
Like the
Yeah.
song aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I love the episode, but this is one of the rare instances I think where I think the book is better.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that book as a kid. I still have my original copy of it from a kid, but I had to get a new one because I mean I literally just read it so much. It's well loved. They say for these books.
Is it a first print with a bookmark inside?
It is actually, but the bookmark obviously was taken out because I was a kid and I was dumb.
No.
I mean, I have one with the bookmark in
Ooh.
it. That's a first print, so it's
Oh,
fine.
you got a mask in there? Yeah.
I did
I
not know it
love
was
when
coming
they
with a
started
mask. I was
putting
so
stuff in.
excited.
Right when you show us,
Awesome.
it's like pops out. Oh,
Oh
no,
no!
what's happening? That happens a lot. Sometimes you'll
No.
just open the book and then like the bookmark falls out.
No, that thing is in there. He's not coming out.
That's good.
Yeah.
No.
I got this
No,
off thrifted
keep it
books,
that way.
and I was like, the mask is in here still.
Yeah, I love
crazy.
coming across stuff like
The
that.
temptation. Well, the temptation for a kid to not pull that out.
I know, right?
I'm telling you,
But that's
because like I did that with the haunted mask one, and
Yeah.
again, another book I
Mine?
had to read it later when I redid my
Mine.
original 62. But well, I mean, back then you couldn't get a haunted mask. I mean, there was one that was vinyl that was made by a company, but it was more based on the TV show.
Yeah.
And then they did this one that's here, but I mean, like you can barely see it because I got a reflection on my glass. But it was that voice changer one,
Oh yeah.
but I never found that as a kid, like nowhere.
Yeah.
So
You had to go to.
it was the one in the book that I
Toys R Us,
used.
maybe.
Oh no, man! I went to Toys R Us, KB Toys, Hills. Like,
Did you ever like
man, I was
ask?
at all
Like
the
at the counter?
places kids go back in the day, but nothing, man.
I was
you
that
gotta
kid
think,
that would ask,
in
man.
The '90s was so big. There was merch, but like it was selling like hotcakes too. I mean, it was going out of style, man. Like that Power Rangers. There's a ton of stuff back then that like would just fly off shelves because there was just so much cool shit back then.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there was
I
stuff like
figured.
I couldn't find. Like I think the only mask I ever found in store was the horror. And I still have that one too. But just like a lot of those old vinyls, I don't know if you guys have this issue, if you have them or not, whether you're watching or these guys here. But the rip in the back, they have a hole punch, but because they were like so small and so, like the horror one especially is oddly shaped. And fat kid, fat head, ripped it. So yep. It's like this bitch is gonna fit regardless.
yeah. Yeah.
So
More for Halloween.
But I'm surprised that you guys. No, I shouldn't say surprised. I do like I love the book a lot. I guess I just have a bias towards the episode because that's one of my favorites personally.
Yeah.
I
mean,
just like
it's a great episode. I think the book is a little bit better, and especially like describing how creepy the scarecrows are. The scarecrows in the episode aren't as creepy as I imagined them because I was lucky enough to read the book before I watched the episode that time.
yeah.
That sometimes is what does it. Depends what
Yeah.
you read or you watched first, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
see, this is where the instance is different with the haunted mask for me, though. Like to kind of flip that because I love the cover. Like that's what got me into Goosebumps was that haunted mask cover by Tim.
Yeah.
And reading the description in the book and everything, I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. But then seeing what they did live action, like gave me a love of masks. Like so now I'm a mask collector because of that episode. So it's kind of a flip because I like this look at the scarecrows in the episode, but I do think the book described them a bit creepier.
Yeah.
Like what they did. So I don't know if they were told to tone down the scariness
Maybe. Well,
or
still pretty intense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another episode I feel is better than the book is Living Dummy 3. another
Oh, yeah.
two-parter.
Everyone says it. They're like, because the book's kind of
Yeah.
it's mid bumps, goosebump, but
The
Living Dummy
book
2
is
is much better.
slow because there's a lot of time devoted to pranks that are not done by Slappy. Like Slappy himself doesn't have much of a presence in the book. It's a lot of like the back and forth between Trina, Dan, and Zane. So there's a lot of
Hayden Christensen.
there's a little more
Yeah.
Slappy in the episode. There's a little more time for him to shine as well as Rocky. Um, I will say one thing the book does over it is that there's more dummies that come to life,
Yeah.
but they don't really get a lot of spotlight themselves except for the end where they just kind of topple over Slappy and then that's how he dies. The
Yeah,
episode blows him to
he
fucking
dies
hell.
spectacularly in the episode. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So like that alone puts it over the book because he just fucking explodes at the end. And then you have that shot of like his head like destroyed and it's burning.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
That's
Living
cool.
Dummy 3 is one of those ones that's also well shot. The episode, really well shot. Yeah, I've seen a few people do like their little essays on it on like YouTube, and they're just like, "This is just a well shot episode. Like it's well done, and the actors are also really good. Apart from that one scene, I wouldn't even call it a scene. I would just call it I'd call it just a moment, a moment
I always
in like
think
a 2 second moment.
I always think that when JonTron reviewed Are You Afraid of the Dark and it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, when they see
And
Slappy,
laughing
they're
in the
like,
dark.
"Ah."
yeah.
It's
Well,
yeah,
that's the thing
but
too.
otherwise it's really good.
You got Hayden Christensen and he does Zane. And Zane in the episode is a way more likable character than in the book. Because
Yeah.
in the book, he's basically like your typical annoying sibling cousin. Like he just complains and he always gets his way. The only comeuppance is that they give him Slappy at the end, which I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I would rather, something actually happen than just implied. In this one, he's a lot more likable. And once they reveal that he's been doing a bunch of the pranks, they actually like become cool. So like they all of a sudden they start like being cool with each other, and then it's like, okay, now it's them against Slappy.
Yeah.
In that sense. So it's a lot more. They just feel like they have a lot more camaraderie. They're not at each other's throats the whole time.
And you get
Yeah.
Zane the dummy, so that was
Yeah.
a plus.
Yeah.
I love the attic scenes and the shadows and stuff. It just looks really, really fun how they did that.
It's a
like
good
when
set
Slappy's
piece.
just sitting in the chair and they're just sneaking up, like to
Yeah.
pull the cover. Like I love
Dummy
that whole
sleep.
moment. Yeah, like, but like the act. Other than that one moment that we talk about, they all do a really good job there. I think the parents are really good. Like the
I feel
dad,
that's
I played the dad was really good. In that.
I hate saying this. I feel that's why the actress who played Trina doesn't want to come on the podcast. She probably like when we invited her, watched our review of that episode.
She is a horrible
That scene all the time.
actress.
Okay,
God, she can't act for
You know-
shit.
it's just that one scene, and nobody can tell me that it was a great acted scene. They
Yeah.
all were shit. It is what it is. It's like if I third time to come on our podcast.
But, like Hayden Christensen's reaction was more real, like when he was like, ah, like when he fell. I was like, that was more like how they all should.
Well, I mean, that guy
I
grew
thought
up
they
to
were
be a
all-
professional actor, so that makes sense. So,
He became the star
Yeah.
of the
um,
Adam. But then again, Blair Slater that played Dan, he was in I'll Be
Barking
Home
Ghost.
Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and he was also in like Truman Show. So he had a chance to shine as an actor. He got some roles in massive films, like around that time.
Yeah.
He just never really, yeah. But
Gotta
yeah,
love Anakin versus Slappy. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
literally Anakin versus Slappy.
when it comes to episodes that are not as good as the book, one that definitely comes to mind is Attack of the Mutant. I feel like the episode it is actually one of those two-parters that didn't improve on the episode, and mostly just because I feel like it's boring. It is so fucking boring. Like the book does more with like different superheroes, different like exploring the Masked Mutants headquarters. There's just a lot more of that comic book like silliness in that one, with superheroes, supervillains. Here they just traverse these big set pieces with nothing in them, and then occasionally the Masked Mutant will like peer through a window or like look around a corner or something like that. It's not
He's the bus
until
driver.
well, it's not until that he goes back at the very end, like when it gets good, because then he's there, the Masked Mutant, and Scott Wicker gets to ham it up. He gets to be the Masked Mutant, and that's when it becomes fun. But that's like the
Along with
last
Adam West.
with Adam West, yeah. So you get that, but that's like 3/4 of the two parts, the 44
It
minutes.
should have been a 20-minute episode. That could have been a one-part episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Easily.
Yeah.
They fluffed the first episode so much.
It was just so
Unnecessarily
pointless.
so.
Yeah.
You literally could have just had Skipper get off the bus with Libby, go in there, explore a little bit, come across the Masked Mutant. Holy shit, he's real. And then, just that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need to
That
have
could have
him
been the
go back
episode.
home and be like, what? Was it real? Was I imagining that? Also, I felt the ending in the book was more creepy because it's the same thing. I think he cuts himself and he's bleeding ink. But in the episode, he just has it on his hands. His mom like tries to scrub it off, and then he's Elastic Boy. Stretching. I mean, it's funny,
Stretch dude and
but it's not
Clover
scary.
Yeah.
I just think of The Simpsons when I think of Stretch Dude.
Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl.
Yeah. They did it right in The Simpsons. Like, come on.
Yeah. But
I don't know. It was I know we've talked about it before, and even Scott Wickware will sit there
yeah,
and
the
tell
Masked
you,
Mutant
which is
himself was
hilarious.
like, "Yeah, I agree."
He's like, yeah,
Your
we
performance in,
really could have just cut that first part out.
His performance
Kinda like, yeah.
freaking Welcome to Deadhouse was good as well, honestly.
Yeah.
Just playing the hard hat man. No more speeches
Hard hat.
here.
Hard hat zombie.
Skiving. Man, I love that.
And I know,
Well, even then, like a lot of people didn't know he played the Haunted Mask, the shopkeeper version in Haunted Mask 2. It wasn't Colin Fox, and I think he did great with that too, because I mean, you're acting, but you're not being able to show your face, so it's a lot of physicality movement. And even the voice, like he did for that, I think was excellent, because that was actually him doing it. It's kind of like Catherine Long doing her voice in the first one, so I'm really glad they let them do it themselves, because I think that really added something to it.
Yeah.
So
I have one that I am curious. What do you guys think about Cuckoo Clock of Doom? Because I like the book more than the episode.
I agree. I like the book more because I feel like there's actually less opportunities that they take in the episode, because the book, like he goes through more different stages in his life.
Yeah.
I remember there's the scene where he goes to daycare. He goes back to when he was in daycare, and that's when he like broke his arm.
Yeah.
Because his crush was like picking on him at the time. It was like that was kind of a cute aspect that they added to it, is like, because he goes on and on in the episode about how much he likes this girl.
Yeah.
But there's not really much to her. In the book, they go a little more into that.
And Tara is way worse in the book. Way worse.
Way worse.
We hate her in the episode.
So it makes the ending feel a little more
more satisfying.
Earned. Yeah.
Yeah. In the episode, it's kind of like the same day a couple of times, and then he's a baby, or he's like toddler then baby.
Yeah.
So it happens really fast.
There's not enough time to really mess with the possibilities of going back in time.
Yeah.
The book does a little more of
really
that.
Fast.
I'm a little biased.
Another one I think that should have got 2 parts now that we're talking about it.
Yeah. Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Yeah.
Either that or they probably just could have taken out 1 or 2 of those like same day birthday loops. Like,
yeah.
They probably could have prioritized a little more development by cutting some things out. But
I mean, if they did a 2-parter, they could do the birthday loop in episode 1, and then in the episode 1 with him going back in time a little bit, and then just do like going back and back and back.
That is a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I think actually that would work. I guess.
There's a few things they definitely could have done if they could have done it as a two-parter. And that's one thing. Like, she was way worse in the book, but I will say the actress for the episode, she made me hate her
Same.
so much. Like, I never until that point in my life wanted to punch somebody in the face so hard.
Jesus.
She sounded like Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. For
Yeah.
some reason. Like from the old animated version, like exactly the same almost. Like I like the same voice actress, but
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah. Like I
The episode
absolutely-
also
Yeah,
suffered from the
shock horror,
90s
dude.
graphic stuff as well in that nightmare scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that and it was very similar in Let's Get Invisible.
Yeah, Tara's head comes out of the cuckoo clock.
Yeah, when he's like running.
Uh,
I love
What about
using
Let's
that
Get
scene. Though.
Invisible?
It's
Do we
so
like that
funny.
episode more than the book?
I
Or do we
I don't remember that episode.
the episode.
Which one? I didn't hear you.
Let's Get Invisible. We don't talk about that one like
Oh.
at all. I feel
That's
like.
one of those ones. See, there's some that I just
I don't watch
honestly
it
can't
enough,
pick
though.
a side because I'm like they seem kind of similar. That's one that for me personally, I'm just kind of like, it's a toss up because I think the book's good and I think the episode's good. I think they're both good.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes down to it, I'll probably pick the episode just because it's something I can throw on.
He's wearing a goosebump hat in that one scene.
He is.
Got that baseball cap. It's got like
Yeah.
the G.
Yep.
I remember
that.
thinking like I really want to find that hat, but I can never find that exact one. But I'm assuming it was just a prop one because they
Probably
literally
just made for that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
I do I do think It Came From Beneath the Sink had a better book than the episode. And I think the episode's fine. I
I enjoyed the episode. I know it's not a fan favorite, but
thought it was
I enjoyed
okay. I thought it was
Definitely
another one where the
wacky.
actors did a good job, and
Evil dish
but I
sponge.
prefer the book because like more bad stuff happens in the book, and I feel like I feel like the book also really like sells home the threat of like you could die if you don't if you get rid of this thing, because it's kind of
Yeah.
like a passing comment in the episode where it's like the host
Yeah.
will die if they get rid of it, and they're just like, oh, okay, let's go get it then. Like in the book, it seems a lot more like dire, like holy shit, like we need to go find that sponge right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. One that we haven't discussed is whether the episode of Book's better is The Girl Who Cried Monster. Because that is a
Ooh.
phenomenal episode. and
that
a
is
great
another
book.
one I can't decide because I think both are
I
really
think I like
good.
the episode more.
I was gonna say I will give it to the episode primarily
Eyeballs.
because the actors did so well. Now, if there was like moments where like I thought, okay, well, this could have been better if the actors were better, but Eugene Lipinski did phenomenal
scary.
as Mr. Mortman. Again, like the intensity, like we talked about that for other episodes, like Werewolf Fever Swamp and stuff, but it's just the way they're shot. Like she's getting chased through the library,
Oh,
and
creepy.
the scenes where he's transforming, like they did so well with that episode.
Yeah.
Like I gotta give it to the episode.
Yeah, they did a good job
Terrifying.
adapting the book. They just changed like a couple of things. Like he was eating turtles in
Yeah,
the book, but he
I
ate
was gonna say
bugs.
not eating turtles.
Yeah, there's like just very little things, but they kept it pretty true.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, the
It's a good-
atmosphere and the tone.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
good, fast-paced monster story. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty snappy. It gets to the point, and I echo that the actors were doing a great job. The makeup effects were amazing. The cinematography, the lighting, like everything about that episode is freaking
Music,
10 out of 10.
everything. Yeah.
So many Goosebumps fans say it's the one that scared the living shit out of them. Like
Mhm.
it was truly one of it's the if not the scariest episode. Like it's
That-
so
The
creepy.
monster scene is like iconic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
It's,
like when he's holding the tarantula and that shot, like looking down on him, and he's got
Yeah.
like that green and that that's that laugh.
Well, the part that gets me is when it's
so
like half
scary.
hanging out of his mouth and it's just like
Mhm.
struggling. And that's the part that gets me
Yeah.
personally. I'm not even like
It's,
scared of spiders or anything like that.
They even did the library, like you were saying with the chase, Nick. Like, if you actually look at the lighting on the bookshelves, it has like that purpley tint. It's the
Yeah.
same as the book cover of Tim's art, like that purpley. So they
Yeah.
even tried to replicate like the
Yeah.
colors of the bookshelves. And oh man, I give it to them for that. It's so good, that episode.
Mhm.
It's if not like,
And the ending.
is it the best
I thought they
20-minute
did the ending
episode?
great,
Is
too.
it like, is it the best 20-minute episode of Goosebumps? Like, like it's the top three. Like it's in the top three. Best 20-minute
It's
episodes.
I
up
would say
there.
so. I would say it's definitely up there. And yeah, probably. I would
Yeah,
think so,
it's
maybe.
definitely up there.
Yeah.
I would have to go through all the 20-minute episodes, but I mean,
Piano lesson. Nah.
Honestly, like I would have like Girl Cry Monster for me, Living Dummy 2, and like oh god, I love
Dummy
Attack
2
of the
is
I love I love the Lawn
I-
Gnomes
I would still-
episode. I love the episode of Lawn
It's so
Gnomes. I think it's
fun.
really fun.
Well, hey, you
too.
brought up
I enjoy that episode.
you brought up Living Dummy 2. I would say I actually prefer the book to Living Dummy 2. I
Oh,
like Living
the
Dummy
book's
2,
better.
but book does more with Slappy, and like I'll never forget that birthday party scene where
See,
he's just
that
like,
could have been a two-part episode, Living Dummy 2. They should have maybe made that a two-parter. Because then they could have
no,
done
I
the
don't feel like they
birthday
could have
and, like,
stretched
flushed
it
those
out
things
that
together.
long. I don't feel like there was that much that happened outside of the episode. I do like, there's two things I like. One is that birthday party scene where he's crushing the little girl's hand and like just screaming and crying and all that stuff, just like absolute
It's
chaos.
considered one of the most unnerving scenes, like moments in a Goosebump book. Is
It's
that
not really that
moment.
scary in
Even
the
Austin,
episode. It's just kind of like,
said
oh my
that
gosh,
moment is
like somebody apprehend this dummy.
This
someone
evil
grab this
being.
dummy, please. And like,
And,
yeah, that scene.
Where you go,
And
Amy?
I hate that they didn't do the. Yeah, like I don't like that they didn't add in the episode the scene where she walks into her bedroom and her name's just written all over the walls in red paint.
But that's
I
the
was like,
thing. It's
why
like the
didn't they
book
do
was
that?
scarier. Like the book just had moments like that that just made Slappy scarier. And
Yeah.
I also do like that the family finds out and they actually like all work together to take him down. It just felt like, again, one of those things where the parents were more involved.
Mhm.
Where in the episode they like, I don't know, they're just
It was
off
Dennis.
over there. They come in at the last minute.
They're
That's why it
napping
should have
and then
been
they
two parts.
disappear.
You could have had more
Yeah,
Dennis.
exactly. I will
They could have
say,
had more Dennis.
Or Dennis,
I
yes.
will say to the episode, they at least showed Dennis at the end.
Yeah.
The episode was creepy too, compared to Living
Yeah,
Number
it was-
3.
it
The
was
tone
creepy.
was darker, creepier. That's one thing they got right was the tone, I think, of the book. Was like it had that same kind of feel. Like
I
when
just
you
think
read
the
it.
book
Like,
had
the
more-
POV shots.
I just think the book had more interesting set pieces that were not just the
Yeah.
house, and Slappy was a lot
did.
more threatening in that sense.
Yeah, he was just doing really creepy stuff in the book.
I'm gonna have probably a controversial take. When it comes to Go Eat Worms, which is like comparing, it's like probably comparing dog
Just say
shit
they're
to dog
both
shit with
shit.
some sprinkles
Yeah.
on it. But I am gonna say,
It's dog shit, but with sprinkles on it.
if you had to put a gun to my head and make me choose which one I liked more, I would have to say I think the book's better. Because the book's a little more disturbing, and I actually think the ending is creepier too, because the episode ending doesn't even make sense. Because he gets hooked by a fish with a sandwich, and then they just let him go. So, like, you're gonna make me swim back?
Did they let him go though?
I don't
Did they
know.
let him
It
go?
fades away before we can know.
Exactly.
Oh my
I think
god.
as
Maybe
the
the kid
descriptive
dies.
stuff helps the book.
That's the thing. It's like when
Yeah.
you're
That's one where describing helps a lot.
when
Grossness.
when it comes to
Yeah.
the gross stuff, like when you can be a little more descriptive, you're probably going to prefer that. It's still absolutely a horrible story
Yeah.
on all accounts. But I do
You don't
think
like
it has
seeing
that-
the giant phallus worm on the episode?
Yeah, it doesn't have a
What?
giant phallus worm.
Looks like a giant penis.
And this is this is probably not even a hot take. The Goosebumps 2023 Go Eat Worms,
Is the best one. Yeah.
Best one by far.
It's the definitive.
I think that is
We've
the
said that
coldest of
too.
cold
It's
takes. Is
not
that
just
the,
you.
the 2023 show did Go Eat Worms best?
I just
It
when
says
I
that's
made my
probably
video
their
about it,
best
and I was like,
episode.
"Listen, this episode is better than the old G." People are like, "No, no,
I'm sorry,
can't
but it's
be."
true.
And I was like,
It's
"It
true.
is." I'm telling you.
Yeah. Honestly, that's one
It
thing I'll give
rocks.
to season 2 is that they got the writer for that specific episode to helm season 2. So that's probably why we liked
That's
it
why
more.
season 2 was better overall. That's why.
Yeah, well, it had
Yeah,
more of
yeah.
that campy, gross, gooey nature to it. So
Yeah,
that's what
eyeball.
it needed. And
that
same
part
thing
was
with Don't Go to Sleep. Again, bad.
I didn't know
bad-
that episode existed. I
bad
had never seen it.
episode. I
Well,
found out about it through John.
You were one of the lucky ones then.
I know because somebody recommended it to me, and I was like, Is that a Goosebumps? What
Why?
is that?
Do they hate you?
I get.
Does this person wish you harm?
They want me to
I
talk
just
about
gotta
the
tell you
bad
right now,
episodes.
you've been talking about a lot of really good episodes. You need to start doing some bad episodes.
And I'm trying to get the good ones out of the way so I can get to the bad ones. I want to enjoy it for a second.
Yeah, once you watch that one, it's like you can't go on anymore.
Yeah, you're just like I fucking hate
There's a very good one on TV right now.
Tiring.
I don't think
I can't do this anymore. I'm
honestly,
sorry.
I don't even think that's one of the worst episodes, but it's
just boring.
Fun. It is boring.
It's bad.
That's one of the worst acted episodes, I will say. No offense to that kid.
Oh, the kid in
wherever that kid is, no offense, but
he's always on the phone. No. One of the best episodes is behind you right now. One of the best.
JonTron's. I love JonTron's video about Don't Go to Sleep. That's probably the best interpretation of that episode.
No, yeah, that's I love that segment.
The Adolescents Can Be Murder. Is the book or the episode better? I love both, and I think the episode's great.
I like the episode.
I like the episode. Yeah, I would say the book is really good, but I like the episode.
Again, this comes on the performances too. Like the episode, Dr. Shriek is like those characters, man, are just so creepy, like disturbing. Like, they give you like that "I'm gonna abduct you" vibe. Like, I'm gonna abduct this child like vibe. That's what creeps me out. Like, it's like creepy man, come into my van, like. Yeah. That kind of
you've got pretty hands.
Pretty hands.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like I love it. And this is one of the instances where I have to like eat my words about what I said earlier about 90s graphics, because the ghosts in that was freaky as shit, and it helped that honestly back then it wasn't great graphics like for a TV show.
Yeah.
This was an instance where I think it actually helped.
Oh, when she comes out at the screen, that scared me.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the moments that like freaked me out as a child, is when the ghost comes out at the end. Like the way that they contort the like ghost face is very disturbing.
Ghost.
The Ben Cook episode.
I actually wanted to really just quickly say why I preferred the Don't Go to Sleep book. The episode, like I feel didn't make sense with why he was going to different realities, and the book had him like going into different bodies almost, and it was only when he went to sleep. He had to go to sleep in order to like jump to a different dimension. So it already like justifies the title in the book. In the episode, he's just randomly going to he's a bomb diffuser, now he's an ice skater or an ice hockey player, and now he's working surgery on the president, and then he's marrying this ugly woman.
Yeah.
Like for no reason. And then the reality police come in, and then they're like, you were bad mouthing your own wife. Is like, so you put this kid through hell because of that? That doesn't make any sense.
That's because he fell asleep on that pea-stained mattress in the attic.
Also, what kid wants to sleep in an attic? At least the book had it. The book at least had like a guest
got that
room.
reference.
Like it was at least like a full-size guest room, and that's why he wanted to sleep in it. It's like, what kid wants to sleep in an attic?
Creepier.
I don't know. Maybe he liked. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Kevin did in Home Alone. He loved it.
He was forced. That's like a Harry Potter situation.
There's monsters up there. It's scary.
Do you guys prefer the
with Kula, so
Yeah, that is true. Do you guys prefer Calling All Creeps episode or book?
I think the book I prefer.
I think the book as well.
Yeah, I think
like
the book's
book. One of my
creepier.
favorites. Yeah.
The episode's
I like
kind
both.
of.
That's tough.
The episode's creepy, but I find it kind of funny.
90s CGI when they morph.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, the transformation,
the Animorphs,
Animorph style. Yeah. I think probably the book, and I think it's because I like the description more of what the creeps look like. And Tim's art on the cover was pretty sick.
Hey, it's the one thing the movie got
right. I didn't care too much about how they looked in the episode. And they look like Gorns from Star Trek. And
they do,
even when we talked to Ron, I think that's what he said the inspiration was. So it's not surprising that's how they turned out.
Yeah, it's the one thing that the movie did better. The creeps look better in the first movie. They actually look like the book cover. It was like
Yeah,
crazy how
no,
much
the
they look
Goosebumps
like the
movie
cover of
actually
the.
made them look like Tim's cover, but they looked okay, but they did look really strange too. Like I
They were
don't
just
know, like
puppet heads, like old school, like
they
puppet
were
heads.
huge. They looked like giant paper mache heads. It was not like a
That's what I mean.
you know
But they at
it,
least
it looked too
did
it
the.
looked too off in the movie. I mean, it was at least trying to be like the covers, but it was still
Yeah.
off, 100%.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got another one. I think sorry,
Deathless
Horrorland
Ghost.
episode fans. I think One Day at Horrorland is a better book than an episode.
Oh,
And that
100%, man.
sucks
But
because
that's not the fault of the show,
no,
in
I'm
my
not
opinion.
saying
Yeah.
so.
It's budget wise is what
Yeah,
hurt that.
that was one of the ones that suffered because of the budget. And that's no fault of they did the best that they could. Unfortunately, you're not going to get better than the description in the books because the book actually is a big theme park.
Yeah.
So what you can imagine there is better than what you can see in the episode. Again, not their fault, but when it comes down to it. Now, I will say the game show part, the second part, that's fun. I do enjoy the episode. Um, but I am going to probably go back to the book over the episode.
Yeah.
And that
The
sucks
Doomsday not
because
being in it.
we haven't
Upset.
gotten a good on-screen Horrorland yet. Like we've only gotten video games. Like the 90s
Yeah.
show and not the 90s show, the 90s video game
Yeah.
by DreamWorks.
Escape. Yeah.
And the Wii video
game. Yeah.
Yeah. And we only have the 90s show for an on-screen, and that one was hampered by budget. We were gonna get a movie that got canceled, and then
Yeah.
Damn
the
it.
Disney Plus show didn't
Then the
even
clickbait
bother.
episode.
Yeah, that is my biggest complaint
Clickbait.
about the Disney TV show. It's like it's right there.
Yeah.
There's already a set of books for you. Do this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Even
That
like
really upset me.
when I saw the
Mhm.
beginning of that episode, and it's like a carnival. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, cool!
Mhm.
Like they're actually gonna do like a carnival. Nope, it's a stupid fucking tower.
It's a
of
spire.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two most useless episodes ever made. Sorry, I hate those
Oh my
two.
God. No, those two.
Oh,
Literally-
no, it ain't just you.
I will say, because I know you tried to defend the season in your review, and I agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, I found myself
They
actually
tried.
changing some of my opinions after watching it.
Yeah.
But I could never change my negative opinions of those last two episodes.
Because I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep doing this tangent.
No,
thing,
no, it's
but
totally.
it should have ended when they threw Slappy off the cliff, and then you can do a cliffhanger with Slappy waking back up, bring him back. Show over. Stop. Stop it right there.
especially if they're
Episode
gonna do
8
something different for season 2.
was like a finale.
Now that ending of episode 10 means nothing because
Yeah.
they aren't revisiting it. We're never going to
Exactly.
see those characters again.
Well, and they rushed the Harold Biddle story. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
we've talked about this, but it really pissed me off because like episode 8 was basically the show's finale to us, as we are all agreeing on at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But man, like that is such a missed opportunity. You had 2 more episodes to flesh out this Harold Biddle story and to try to turn him back to the light side, if you will.
Yeah.
But you crush it all in a 5-minute span of what was it that his parents called him?
Oh,
His nickname.
I don't remember.
He wanted to say Harry Larry, but I know that's not it.
Hair Bear. Hair Bear.
Hair Bear, yes.
Hair Bear.
That's it.
I knew it was
Hair
Hair something, but
Yeah, they just say
So,
Hair Bear.
all of
and
a
then
sudden
he's
some
all of a
random
sudden
person he's
not
never met
evil
says Hair
anymore.
Bear. And he's like, "Oh, I killed my parents and everything, but because you called me Hair Bear." Oh, guys.
Yeah.
Just want to say we're
And then he
not
just-
shitting on.
He just goes back with his parents after he gets.
Just want to
It's
say
like,
we're
oh my
not
God,
shitting
what
on
the fuck
Ben
is happening?
Cockel because we're friends with him.
No.
And Ben, you're awesome.
I think the
So-
first
No,
8
like,
episodes are fine. They could have
great.
they could have fleshed it out a little more, yeah. But
That's
I think
the
those
thing.
are
If it was-
fine.
if
And
it
I
was-
was like, okay.
If it was just those
If-
8
If their
episodes,
goal was to turn him back to the light side, they really should have done a better job of doing that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fleshing it out, and then have that be the finale, along
Focus
with,
too
like you
much
said,
on the
Slappy
mystery.
going over the the ledge, and breaking and but still alive.
Yeah.
Well, Slappy. So
Yeah.
And I
So
love
just,
Justin Long as much as the next guy, but okay.
same.
Honestly,
my
though,
favorite
I would
actors.
say David Schwimmer, Justin Long in terms of Goosebumps. Because I thought
Really?
David Schwimmer, I thought David
think he's-
Schwimmer was better than Justin Long.
No,
He played Brewer
I
well.
love both.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do think that Justin Long, because of his
He's just slapsticky.
really
I just
weird-
love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of take him over David Schwimmer's Dr.
I think
Brewer, but
only
not by
Justin
much.
Long could fight with himself in a parking lot and still lose. So
No,
Yeah.
he's fun. Don't get me wrong. I think it's just because David Schwimmer is such a stranger to the horror genre that it's all the more
Yeah.
funny when he does like the goofy,
yeah,
like scary stuff. So that's why I personally they're both fine. They're
No,
both definitely
I mean-
highlights of those seasons.
That's what it irks me about that first season too. Besides just clickbait titles, they really set up mud monsters, like the "You Can't Scare Me" episode, the book that it's kind of like the Stein book from the movies. It's like, oh, I write, or I'm in this, I can make it real. What happens to that? Oh, it gets thrown in the mud.
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, so now mud's seeping in. So now mud monsters are going to come out, right?
That
Yeah.
would've been-
Perfect setup scenario. What do? Nothing. They do nothing
I love
with it
that
at
we
all.
said we were
Hey,
going to keep it
we
to
could
the
aspire.
but now we are
They go up
criticizing
to the mountains where there's no snow, but there's no mud, but there's a lot of snow.
Could have
Yeah.
been the bottom
So,
snowman.
Instead of you
Or
can't
you could have
scare me,
had-
yeah. Instead of you can't
They
scare
could have
me, you should
teleported
just
to
have Beware the
Pasadena.
Snowman.
Beware the snowman. Beware the snowman.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bomb
beware the
snowman
snowman. See,
there.
that would have been niche.
Snowman,
That would have
I
been a
don't
really.
care.
That would have been a unique thing to do if they had beware the snowman. Yeah, like
but,
just randomly.
Because there's not an episode about it. So
Yeah, but
No,
but
that
we're
could have
getting
been
off
like
topic
their-
now.
Hey, let's be unique.
Mhm.
Nah, it's all Goosebumps.
Oh,
If you're
wait,
watching this, you know how we do things here, and we do get off topic sometimes, but it's still good stuff.
I will say,
No goosebumps.
Blob that ate everyone.
Usually
That's another
Goosebumps
one.
Yeah,
I
the book is
prefer-
better.
I prefer the
Yeah.
book over the episode.
I was actually going to bring that one up if somebody else didn't.
Yeah, no, that one is just. Now, to be fair, the book is. The book doesn't have a ton of action going on in it either, but unfortunately, and again, budget things. I get it, but that blob monster looks like shit compared to what's set up in the book.
Wait a minute.
Looks like a
I haven't
giant
read the
blob
book
of
in a long
bubble
time.
gum.
Does the blob eat everyone?
No.
It eats one person, and then it turns
That's a
into that
clickbait
person.
title,
at the end.
man.
Yeah.
Stein, the blob did not eat everyone.
That's the thing. The ending is so corny. It's like I would have preferred if they kept the ending from the book where it's revealed that it's a story by another blob monster, because that ending is so corny that would have made it worth it. But no,
Yeah.
that's the actual ending. They're just like little lightning sparks bzzz on his head, and all of a sudden it just turns into Adam, and he's just like, "What's going on?" Is like, "You don't want to know."
Hated that. That's another character I hated in the
Everywhere
series.
you look, everywhere, it's so hard.
I hated him so much. He's up there with. He's like up there. I hate him with terror. I hate Adam. He was such a douchebag. If you ask me,
You know-
was lame.
I was,
I'm like, you know what? Fuck you.
I always say that the blob in the blob episode looks less like the blob, and it looks more like the cover of
It looks like the cover of that. It
Yeah.
does.
Like,
It's
dude,
like I live in your see. If they did an "I Live in Your Basement" book, they could have used that prop, and we would have gone. That looks sick.
they
That looks
wouldn't have
just
had
like
the
cover art."
balls to do that in the show. I will say they wouldn't have had the balls to adapt that book.
If it was a cable show and not a network show, maybe.
There's
And that's
lungs
what we've talked about
burning out
before
of
on here is
people's
why Are You
mouths.
Afraid of the Dark got away with some things compared to Goosebumps,
Yeah.
just because of where they're syndicated. So
That would have been the only episode on HBO, like Tales from the Crypt, lungs and shit
Yeah.
coming out of your mouth or something.
Tales from the Crypt.
Could you
X
imagine like a
Goosebumps
Goosebumps version of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been
imagine
awesome.
cool.
Goosebumps Tales from the Crypt style.
I love whenever the Crypt Keeper would do like a promotion for Goosebumps, or very recently,
Yeah.
actually, they found a commercial for Adventures of Shrinkman that the Crypt Keeper was in. So
That's
it's
cool.
like, hello, kitties!
I'm
Check out
sorry,
this
but-
new R.L. Stein
He just
book.
like appears.
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. It's just like,
Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's a nice surprise.
Can someone please say the line from Piano Lessons? Just because I'm watching that scene right now.
Beautiful hands, beautiful
Yes, thank you.
hands,
Beautiful
hands.
Oh, I love it. So
Yeah,
much.
Bjorn's
That's one
not
of the
even
early
like
episodes I watched
part
too.
of the podcast right now. He's just watching your
He's
TV
just
in the
watching
background.
Goosebumps on my TV.
I'm watching. It's Goosebumps, and it's a good episode. Of course, I'm watching.
Oh,
I'm
here's another one.
multitasking.
I prefer the book personally. Cry the Cat.
I don't think
yeah,
I've read that book. I didn't get around to Series 2000, but
I
the
would
episode.
recommend
Oh,
It's
you're
great.
missing out. There's
It's
some
worth
great
it.
ones in Series 2000.
I would
Yeah.
recommend reading Cry the Cat because so the episode goes for a meta commentary. It was one of the last episodes.
Yeah.
So it focuses on a movie set. That doesn't happen in the book. The book is, I think they're doing like a play, and it's not even like based on, like a cat or anything like that. I just think the book has a lot more tension in it. The episode goes for that, like I said, more of that meta commentary. So it's a lot more jokey.
Yeah.
It's not really as scary, but I mean,
Oh,
the
that
episode's
book's
fine.
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, when me and Nick went to
That's all
meet
I hear
R.L.
when we talk
Stine.
about Cry the Cat.
Yeah, no, just for those who don't know, when we went to meet R.L. Stine about 2 years ago, somebody asked him about Cry the Cat, and it was like, "Did you enjoy it?" It was like, "Did
Yeah,
you
the
enjoy
question,
writing
by
that
the
book?"
way, was why do you think Cry the Cat is an underrated book?
And then he just said,
That was the
"Cry
question.
the
And why I
Cat."
remember that question is because his answer cracked me the F
His
up.
answer was just like, "Oh, that book was terrible." And we were laughing,
So I
but
can't
we like,
believe
I
that
think we
got
like looked over to
printed.
each other, as like, I like that book.
I like
Pretty
that
good.
book.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
went on
no.
record before saying that was one of his like favorites he written or something for
He
Series
must
2000.
have not have
And now I'm
remembered.
like,
He
oh,
might have
that's a
thought it was
my
like
God.
Barking Ghost or something like that, or I don't know. You might have
Maybe
gotten
he
it
was thinking
confused.
the episode, but he got the book confused with the.
But the
He was like,
episode's
"Oh,
not
it's
even
a
that
terrible
bad.
book." I mean, episode.
Fine.
Like,
I don't
maybe he
know.
got confused. He's getting older. Maybe he was
Well,
confused.
he was 80 at the time we were there, so or about to turn 80.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy to think we actually did get two Series 2000 books adapted into the TV show. Like it's cool that we did. I just wish they did more. Like I feel like if the
Oh,
show
yeah.
continued, we would have eventually got Creature Teacher for sure. I reckon that would have been the next one on the cards. But yeah,
I would have loved to have seen more, yeah. There's so many good like Hellas Halloween would be amazing as an episode.
Hmm.
yeah.
I don't know. That might be another one that would be too dark for TV.
Maybe.
They could
It
just
was
tone
the
it down.
90s.
They would have just had to do the Goosebump
The-
thing and turn it down a bit.
Yeah. If you're gonna get killed, you're killed off screen, kind of like the Hermit, so it's fine.
Yeah. I have another one that's probably kind of weird. Werewolf Skin. Do you guys like the book or the episode?
Well, I love both.
That's
love
another one that's a toss up because
Yeah. The episode is terrifying, actually.
episode is creepy.
Yeah.
That is insane. But I also like in the book how I think they
Yeah.
like try to wear
Like,
the skins as like
blood.
Halloween costumes. It's
Yeah.
more of a Halloween book in the book.
Yeah.
The episode kind of
Yeah, it was actually. I remember that.
They're in fall, and that's like as far as it goes.
Yeah.
So,
But no, that's
They
another one I
like
think
my
both are
blood.
pretty good.
Arjun was great. We tried
Yeah.
to get him on the podcast.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like my blood.
Dies.
No, that
He
is
just
a
cracks
good
me
one.
up. Like,
Oh,
man,
man.
he just repeats what his friend says. I love it. He's just, but he's got his back, he's got your
It's-
back.
that's
He's
pretty
like
much
their
all you have to do as a wingman, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Copy
you
whatever
just
your
hype
friend
the other
says.
guy up.
And see,
But
their
it's just like,
scream in that episode
werewolves.
wasn't.
Think that's funny?
They actually screamed.
Yeah, it's
We
like
knew it was Creek.
actual scary stuff was
Like
happening.
blood curdled scream, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know
Actually-
what? The scene where like he turns around and the werewolf just stands up over him. That was
Uh-huh.
creepy.
I will say,
I think I'll
what's
give
his
it to the
name?
episode.
Keegan
Hmm?
McIntosh.
Tough.
Keegan McIntosh. He did kind of
Oh,
overact
the
sometimes.
The kid lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did overact a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes
He did.
it's just like
He screamed like a girl. He literally screamed like a girl when the werewolf stands over him. I was like, oh, okay. Whoa, I didn't expect that scream. But
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like the kid from Bella Cry Monster, like he screamed like.
oh yeah.
Yeah. That kid could scream.
What's with the kid?
What's another one?
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Vampire breath?
I'll give it to the episode. Werewolf skin was definitely awesome. And I think it's because I love the werewolf design so much.
Mhm.
And what was
There's a lot of
I don't know
haunting
how they did it.
scenes.
I'll have to find out, but they didn't just do a typical like wolf howl for
Mhm.
the werewolves in Fever Swamp and Werewolf Skin. They kind of had this other weird distorted sound they did,
Yeah.
which was really unique to their werewolf. So I really
Well, and there's
loved,
also like
the whole
They're
thing.
werewolf.
there's the scene that ends off like part one where he opens the window and then they're just like clawing at him through the
Yeah.
metal bars.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
they're
you didn't
trapping
expect
him,
that,
but
like,
also
literally just
protecting him.
exactly. It's like it's
Yeah.
very, very creepy.
Yeah.
And even like when they're like trying to find their skins and then you just see them and they have like their eyes are just like red, like
Yeah.
red, and it's just like give us our
like
skins.
crack addicts.
Or when he's just taking pictures, like the first time you ever watch it, at least he's taking the pictures and they're taking the skin off. That's also like a oh
Yeah.
shit moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh my
it's
God.
also a weird one because you're like two things. One, that tells you that his room was on the second floor. So how are those werewolves standing there
They climb.
trying to get in?
They
Climb
can
that
climb.
shit.
They got claws.
Yeah, but both arms are through. So trying to get him.
How did
what
he
are
get
they
on the
standing
roof
on?
of that barn in Werewolf
Yeah.
Fever Swamp?
Oh.
Yeah.
He jumped. They showed
He's got that good
but
Oh, they
he was
did show
standing
him
on the roof of
jumping.
a barn.
He's got good upper
What is he
strength.
standing on? What's that werewolf standing on the second floor?
Just
What's
got
out
that
there?
good
Nothing,
upper
'cause
strength.
You
He
show out
benches
the
a
window
lot.
later.
Oh yeah.
What if
down to the house.
Oh yeah, he just got long
What's he
legs.
standing on?
So there's nothing. Yeah, I was gonna say this.
He's
Go
got it.
werewolf legs.
Yeah.
No, he's oh god, I'm gonna sound like a nerd. He's got
But
that
the
fucking
second part
sonic
was
werehog
very
powers
weird.
in his legs.
Oh yeah, he can like stretch really well. Yeah.
yeah.
The second weird thing was the fact that Alex is sitting there taking nude photos of his aunt and uncle. So it's like,
Well,
all right.
he didn't know who it
He didn't
was.
know.
It wasn't.
Well, he did
mischievous.
after they took the
Yeah.
skin off, but he's still like taking photos until the skin's all the way off because
Yeah.
they take the shot. It's like,
And then
Alex.
and then his reaction is
Yeah,
right at
because
the
he
end of that.
realizes that
So
it's his
he's-
yeah,
animal.
because he just
Yeah.
it wasn't so much that he caught them changing from werewolf to his aunt and uncles because he just saw them naked. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that would do it to you.
That's what that
I
reaction
just
was.
saw my uncle's ass. Oh,
Why is it so hairy still? Oh god.
Oh, here's a speaking of hair. What
Oh,
about
God.
My Hairiest Adventure?
That's where
They
you're going
both
with this.
suck.
You have to choose which is better.
And it's not even the actor; it was Amos Crowley that freaking
yeah.
Voiced
dubbed
him,
his
yeah.
voice
Oh,
over
God,
Harry
let me-
Larry's. Did you know
You
that?
know, you know what?
Chuck,
Okay.
it was Chuck Green the whole time.
I remember I showed this episode to my friends the other day, like a few weeks ago. And they were just like, God, I hate this kid.
What's with his
See,
voice?
another
Like,
episode that JonTron made better.
Oh yeah.
Larry,
Like,
you're pretty
I could
cool
watch
for a
it
girl.
with his
too.
commentary, but I can't watch that episode again ever. So,
They did have like a really cool like fur up scene in that though.
It was cool
Oh, yeah.
effects. Like when
Yeah.
they were showing
When
the hair
yeah.
off, it was
Yeah.
cool effects. Except for the ending with the head,
Oh.
the face with all
Yeah.
that looked kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Oh my god. It's so weird that it's what was so wrong with that kid's voice that they had to
Larry.
dub over his voice the whole episode.
I don't know.
Like I want to hear the original version.
I would love to know that too. Even Amos didn't know though. They just asked him if he would do it. So
It's so weird.
okay.
Like it's not that kid's voice for the entire episode. Oh.
well, it could have just been the fact that like maybe that dude hadn't hit puberty, ironically enough, yet, even though he's growing hair this whole episode. The
Probably would have been a
irony, I
little on the
guess.
nose,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah.
But,
Get that actor on here,
irony,
like,
but I mean, it's possible.
costume.
I mean, Star Wars did it with Darth Maul. They didn't like that guy's like voice or
Darth
whatever,
Maul.
so they dubbed it over with someone else.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just his voice,
I guess to
it wasn't right.
I guess to end things off, we talked about some of them at the beginning. Perfect School, Haunted, House of No Return. let's talk about some of the other very, very bad tales to give
No,
you.
sorry.
Episodes.
I'm only laughing because I literally just thought, I was like, well, what if he did hit puberty, but now he doesn't sound like a teenage boy? He sounds like James Earl Jones.
Oh yeah.
That's why they had to do it.
Oh, mom,
Mom, Dad, the hair, it will not stop.
I wanna do
I just want to hear like.
What if he
even
just
one
turns
10
into
second
James
clip.
Earl Jones? Like nothing different. Like the hair had no actual point. He just appears in the next scene as James Earl Jones. This is
That would
CNN.
have been awesome.
yes.
Rip James Earl Jones.
Um,
But yeah, let's end off by mentioning some of those quick short story episodes. Strained Peas, I never have any interest to go back to that one.
no.
Neither
No.
Teacher's Pet, not that one
No,
either.
that's the worst. That's the worst episode of the show, in my opinion.
Teacher's
God,
Pet?
that
Wow,
was-
that's
To me, that's the worst
I-
episode. I can't.
I
even, I
save
can't even
that
sit
spot
through
for
it.
Say Cheese and Die Again. Thank you very much.
Right. I can't even sit through it, man. It's like
I can't wait for you to review that one. No, the ones I
Here's a weird one. They like completely changed the haunted house game because it's nothing
Yeah.
like the story.
yeah, I noticed that
Yeah.
too.
it's very.
kinda
different,
like-
actually.
Actually,
I like the episode. I like them. I can say I can like them both because they're nothing alike. Not even like close to anything.
True.
they're almost
Not
like
even
their
the
own-
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they both
No,
work,
It's like
then that's
Disney
fine.
Plus before Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's like-
yeah.
It's like the
Sure.
story was like them playing a game in a house, and the things that happened in the game started happening to them inside the house, and then it turns out that they're dead and they're doing it forever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's
I
a
would have
short
liked
story.
that more. Honestly.
Yeah, but in the
Which one is
episode,
it,
of course, it's like
Ian?
a board game that they're playing.
Yeah, they get
just to
it's
roll
like
seven.
they get sucked into it and they have to escape, and
Yeah.
I
Which
like
book
it
was in
fine.
again?
It's just
1, 2,
Jumanji.
3. I can't remember which one it was in.
3? Actually, I can
season
look it up.
3.
Three?
That was Haunted House game.
Yeah.
They didn't start
Yeah.
doing the short stories until season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
So-
weird. Like they still had so many books they could have taken from.
But it was probably
They
a
were
matter of what they could and couldn't pull off with the budget they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I feel like a lot of the original 62 wasn't complicated to
Mhm.
potentially pull off as a live action show episode.
Meh.
I feel like they could have done
dude.
this camp.
About it. I mean,
about
if you're
Click?
willing to
This
take
camp
on
could have
the
been
I didn't read
epicness
Click.
of Horrorland's book as an episode, I feel like there's no bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's some they
If
could
you're
have done.
willing
I
to take
hate
on
that they didn't.
Horrorland, I would say you
Yeah.
could do some of these others.
Well,
Yeah, I hate that they didn't do Ghost Camp. I really do. They could have done that. I think they could have easily done Ghost Camp.
eh,
Yeah. They could have done and go school. Wait, is that
Yeah.
one?
Haunted School.
Like-
Oh,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Haunted School, yeah.
Haunted
Yeah,
School. There
Haunted
you go.
School.
Because we only
I don't
got
know if
one
they could
camp
have done
episode.
Camp Jelly Jam.
Yeah. They could have done.
They-
Camp Jelly
I would have
Jam,
loved to have
but-
seen our Camp Jelly.
They
Jam.
could, but it would just look like the Blob or Monster Blood at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they can reuse it.
So
Yeah, just take
Just
what they
different
had
colors.
from Monster Blood and just make it purple, and there you go. You got
Yeah.
Just put a crown on its head.
throw on some googly eyes and a crown. You're
Yeah.
good to go.
And Tim Jacobus would have played Buddy. That's what we all said.
that
He-
would have
he was
been
Buddy.
fucking awesome if they got him to play Buddy.
It would have been great, but man, like when we got him to do our video for Kickstarter, I remember talking to Tim about it, and he was like, "Look, dude, he's like, I'm not an actor. He's like, this is gonna suck if I do it." I'm like, I don't care. I'm not an actor either. Mine sucks too. Did you see that? He's like, just do it. Just do it, man.
Yeah.
It's like, God,
Please.
Gosh, just do it. Why are we Napoleon Dynamite now? Girls, girls.
So I don't know. I mean, that's just funny to me. Like, it would be awesome if he did, in fact, play Buddy though, because I mean, he modeled himself after it. So
Yeah.
And he looked like
pretty
Buddy. when he-
spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, what's someone else thinking of? Click. Was Click better than
Yeah,
the
that's what.
short story?
I don't even remember the short
I didn't-
story that
don't
much,
either.
but I do like the episode. I
The
thought it was,
episode's kind of creepy at the end.
at the
it's
end,
kind
I
of
think that's one of the more
Episode is
comedic
the short
ones
story
overall.
of the movie. So
Yeah.
the Adam Sandler movie. So
Adam Sandler ripped off that.
Yes, it's
Totally
one of
ripped off
Adam
it.
Sandler's most iconic films, and
It is his best film. I just want to point that out.
It's weird. It's
It
weird.
is
I
oddly
don't know.
so good.
It's
like
weird
I
how
don't
good
know.
that movie gets.
I love Happy Gilmore a lot, and Billy Madison. So
Yeah.
really Happy Gilmore. I absolutely love that film. So
Happy Gilmore is
Looks
what
good,
people say
but-
is like your quintessential Sandler film, eh? It's like,
Yeah.
you gotta watch Happy Gilmore. Gotta watch it.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Remember
Are there
the
any other
Click
episodes
story?
to talk about?
I mean,
There's a lot we could talk about.
Well, yeah, there's a lot,
There's
but-
Ghost
Deep
Pete.
Trouble.
We'll have Ghost Beach, Headless
Ghost Beach.
Ghost.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's still
Many of
tons.
those are toss-ups for me, though. Like, I think Ghost Beach, the episode and the book are pretty similar. Same with, you know what? I would say Headless. I would say Headless Ghost.
I
I
think
like the
the-
episode more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What
I
about
like it.
Bride of the
How
Living
to
Dummy?
Kill a
We're forgetting
Monster.
Harrison's googly
How to Kill a
slappy eyes.
Monster?
Yeah,
Oof.
those weren't googly eyes; they were straight up slappy eyes, and that was weird.
On Bride of the Living Dummy on Harrison. I love Bride of the Living Dummy though. I think that's one of the more brutal slappy books. Like he literally chokes the kid and like drags him across the floor like with his like.
Oh my
with his
God.
hand. I mean, that's just
See,
brutal.
why couldn't they bring that suit actor back to do that?
That'd been
Yeah.
funny.
Remember, he like grabs the kid and like drags him across the floor and like chokes him. Like slappy. I'm
They had
like,
to turn him into a pedophile. That's
Yeah, exactly.
more important.
Yeah, it's
Was it
like, no, he
Slappy's
wanted to
not
marry a
even-
little kid for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it was
Ew.
Slappy's Nightmare. Where he
I
bit
think
the
that's one
kid's
of the things
ear
they
and started
changed in one of
bleeding.
the reprints. They got rid of that angle. I think. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
well, they left it in the show apparently. Yeah. 'Cause he's like, I want
Can't take it out of
her.
the show.
God, even if it was,
Yeah.
even if it was not the little child, like Jesus.
Yeah.
That's so creepy. And
It's
not in a
so
good way.
weird.
Oh, you said how to kill a monster.
Oh yeah. I think I like the episode,
Yeah.
honestly. The monster design in the episode is
I like the
pretty
episode.
sick.
Yeah, I'd say
I
the
think
episode.
both are kind of weak, but
The granddad scared me more. The grandpa in the episode where he's like, "I'll get you your water."
Oh yeah.
And he like walks. And the expression on his face was
Speaking
actually
of
like
pedophiles,
creepy.
uh,
I think he was like the creepy character in the episode. It was the grandpa.
But it's
I guess
so
same could be said
funny.
for Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, though. The old man in the dream sequence.
Oh, we haven't talked about that. That is like the most disturbing scene in the whole freaking series.
Yeah.
With the old people in the and he's like
Keeping kids chained up there for grandpa's amusement. I like to
I
catch
just
you.
love you. So, that was weird. You know that was the scene that they took off TV though, wasn't it? They banned that
Oh really?
that scene originally.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it
It's
got.
crazy.
I don't know if it got banned in the U.S. I think it got banned in Canada.
Yeah, they
Um,
took that scene out because kids were
Weak.
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Pokemon
He's like turning the wheel, like
tinfoil hat all over.
I thought that was oh never mind. I was picturing when you were saying that, I was picturing the haunted house game Fisherman. And I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
And I was
no,
like,
no.
oh
yeah.
I don't even know what he's turning, but he's just like turning something.
yeah.
Churning
Uh,
butter.
Yeah, turning butter.
Churning butter. He's Amish.
He's Amish grandpa
Living in
scary.
that Amish paradise.
You know, one last episode I'll bring up, because King, you had mentioned Deep Trouble.
Yeah.
And that one's weird because that's technically
the second book.
the second book, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone really likes the second book.
Well, the thing when I was like making my review on it, obviously I pick up it's called Deep Trouble. I'm gonna read Deep Trouble, you know.
Yeah.
Pick it up and it's about like mermaids and stuff. And I was like, there's no mermaids in the episode.
Where's the
It's a-
mermaid?
Yeah, where's the mermaid? But I think the episode beats the book. And that's I've learned is not a common take.
Yeah,
Only the Deep Trouble 2. Yeah.
Yeah, the Deep Double Troop.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you
Beats the
said.
Deep Trouble
I
2
would
book.
I would
I
say
agree.
yeah. In comparison, I was gonna say in comparison to the first book, I don't know, but in
no.
comparison to the second book, I would say the episode's better.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely a lot creepier, and
Just that
more-
last season of
Yeah.
Goosebumps was very different.
it was only like it's technically only 4 episodes. So
yeah, 4
Yeah.
two-parters. It's
Yeah.
a very short season.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to do.
again, like we
almost
talked
all.
about, it just got really strange after like season 2. Like
mhm.
part of season 2, even you could see where it was changing, but man, after that,
Yeah.
somebody in creative was just like, "Oh, we'll just keep rolling with this.
Yeah.
Choose
Make
one.
this light and funny." It's like, dude, this is not Alf. All right,
Yeah.
like.
I wonder if they were getting in trouble for being too spooky. And so they're like, let's do the funnier ones.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, because
American.
it really, so the height of Goosebumps came with, I think, the TV show.
Yeah.
It really boosted Goosebumps. And the reason why is because it was creepy and stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
I think the height was probably 95, 96 ish. Kind of
Yeah,
started falling off in
95,
97, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Well, 97, I
It
think,
was
is the year
during
that
yeah.
season 3 started really happening.
Yeah.
It was
And now
during-
season 3 had some good episodes, obviously. It's just, again, you could tell the theming, the overall tone of those episodes really changed compared to, especially the first season.
Yeah.
No. It was throughout 1996 that they were selling 4 million books a month. That was the peak year, 96. They were selling the most books.
Which
It
makes
was
sense
4
because
million a month.
October of 95 is when The Haunted Mask aired. So there wasn't much left of 95. So it really boomed going into 26. Or
96, you had all your mass-produced merchandise too.
Yeah.
All the mass-produced stuff came out, 96. Like 95, you had not really much stuff really at all. You had more of the stuff in the back of the catalogs and your Scholastic book fairs, and you had more clothing stuff. You had like the Shrieks and Spiders game, but then 96 you had Horrorland, Terror Tower, you had Terror in the Graveyard, you had everything that we love. Just it all came out in 96. All pinball machines, the freaky frames, the freaky faces, the flip faces, the gurglins, everything. It all happened.
Yeah, every costumes. They had the whole shebang. And that's what gets me is like, it's clear that Goosebumps was popular, but it really got popular because of the 90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, Scholastic like will not acknowledge that. Like they treat
They
that
don't.
show like it's their redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
It's really sad and really disappointing they do that, because it's
Yeah.
so well loved and it made them so much money. It still could if they would bring out a Blu-ray release, Scholastic, just saying.
Only in Germany.
Okay.
It exists in Germany only on Blu-ray. That's it. Only country that did it.
Well, I don't get
I
it.
still want to
I don't
see
get
what
it.
it looks
We're
like.
overdue.
Like I want to see
We're
like a
overdue.
Slappy being like hockey.
Well,
Nine!
I don't think there's any more
Nine!
episodes that are really
Sounds
worth
like
discussing. Any other episodes I feel like are pretty like toss-ups. I can't think of any other ones that are like really different from each other. But
Yeah.
An old story.
I felt an old story. No, that one was weird in both areas.
I love it. It's so weird. I love it though.
It's funny. It is.
Yeah. It's
But,
such a weird combination for that VHS, Bride Living Dummy and an old story. Like, why?
I don't get it either.
Why didn't
The
they put
fact
Living
that
Dummy 2
I
with it?
don't know. The whole premise is so crazy. It's like your aunt or grandma, whatever she was to them, is pimping them out to her old biddy friends.
Exactly.
So the
I will
craziest concept.
say, I don't think the book actually confirmed that she was actually their aunt. Like, I feel like they said, like, we never seen her before, so it could have been like anybody, which honestly is scarier that just some random person came into your
I was
house.
gonna say, why would you leave your kids with somebody you didn't know like that? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you do it all the time when you leave your kids at like daycare or something, but usually you get some kind of, semblance of the people that are watching your kids or whatever.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that whole story premise was hilarious, and I enjoy that episode still.
I agree.
Just the whole concept. I remember my mom watching that one, and she was like, "What the shit?" And I was like, "I know, I know." It's like, that's messed up, isn't it?
But yeah, no. So we wanted to just give our opinions on some of the episodes that we thought were better than the books, and some that we thought were not as better than the books. Of course, as we mention all the time, this is just our opinion. So if you don't agree, totally fine. In fact, let us know in the comments below, like what you think of some of these episodes. Do you think the book was better? You think the episode was better? Feel free to let us know because
we
we're
won't
always
read
interested.
them, but you can leave it down there if it makes you feel better.
We won't read them.
Look,
but you can.
Going Worms is your favorite episode, or Strain Peas,
I actually do read them, and I do comment back.
Do you
when
think
I
the
can.
Go Eat Worms episode was better than the book? Please make our day and advocate for that.
We'll make a poll.
The options are going to be book, episode, and this is stupid. Oh man, but
watch that turn around and bite us in the face though, because nobody's going to select this as stupid. They're going to just actually pick book or episode.
Yeah.
No, I've seen many polls before. I think people will more overwhelm the this is stupid option. But no, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of Goosebumps Crew. King, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on here and talk some Goosebumps with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. And seriously, I mean, like I said, your videos are awesome. You're very knowledgeable in Goosebumps yourself. And if you ever want to come back on to yap some Goosebumps with us, you are more than welcome. As I always say,
more
our
so than Isaiah
door.
even. So, are you looking for a hosting gig by chance?
I got a pretty full schedule already.
Yeah, I was gonna say, better not steal my job. But
kidding.
where can our audience find you, man?
I am Kingnusmi on YouTube. That's KINGNUSMI, and I'm also that literally everywhere else. So if you're interested in looking for me, that's where you can find me.
As always, I'll throw those links in the description below so you can check them out. Go show him some support because he really does deserve it. Check out his videos. As I said, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass when I say they're really, really well done. And he talks about things that are not just Goosebumps. So if you need a break from all the Goosebumps talk, you can go check out
other R.L. Stein stuff.
Yeah, you can go to one of other R.L. Stein's series.
Yeah.
Go check them out. Links will be in the description below, as well as if you want to check out Bjorn and Nick's channels and social medias, you can follow them at Goosebumps, Saucy and Sean, respectively. If you liked today's episode, make sure to like and comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the Goosebumps Crew. Follow us on our audio platforms and social medias. All those links are in the description below, so check them out. We'll have another episode for you next week, but until then, this has been the Goosebumps Crew podcast. And from all of us here, we want to wish you all as always to take care, stay safe, and have a very scary day.